many communities, but I did hear, but definitely there is a lot of improvement in terms of how the work is being managed between both the worlds.
Yeah, in the corporate sector, it's much lesser, but
Yes.
you still have men saying, "Oh, I have a lady boss." Did you face any disparity in terms of salary or designation or promotions in your career? And if any, how did you manage to deal with it, both from the men's side and the women's side?
So I definitely take a pride in saying that I work for an organization which doesn't discriminate women in any category. In fact, it provides equally challenging aspects on work, growth, and salary for that matter. In fact, my organization drives some initiatives to encourage diversity and inclusivity. These help to promote women in long career leadership. And I can quote some examples, Sri. Salary was, in fact, just to directly answer your question, I didn't face that instance in my career. Come back to work. Even if you have taken a break, we welcome ladies to join back work after a break, and we encourage to take sabbatical than resigning from work, right? So, and we also give some kind of, importance or have a conversation start. If there is a forum, we give equal importance for women to start the conversation and many more initiatives to lead the inclusivity. So I didn't face that disparity because I've been working in one organization for longer duration. Maybe I was fortunate enough.
Yeah. Chaitanya, women leaders make work better. Adding to what Sudhindra mentioned, I could have this question for you. Women leaders make work better. What are your thoughts on that?
I think women leaders are very good when it comes to creating and rectifying certain processes. The way they have the ability to give a form and structure to an idea, and also correcting matters without losing her calm. I'm sure women can be. It's not to let. It's not anywhere to let that men are less or something, but the way they can focus and focus on multiple things at a time, that's something that's commendable and worth a note. And I couldn't agree more with Sudhindra when he says empathy. Wonderful empathy is what you could find with women, and there are so many more that we can speak. It's a lot. And one of my mentors used to say, "Are men and women equal?" And if this question was posed in a group, majority of them would say yes, especially the women would say yes, of course. And my mentor would say, you know what, while they are more or less equal, it's always 51-49. Women can never be equated to men. They are 51 and men can only be 49.
Right. Sudhindra, you very brilliantly spoke about the points of empathy and how women are can connect with men more, or rather teams more. I would add, apart from empathy, they have this innate talent or inherently born with that I can not just empathize, but I can also understand what you're going through, what you're facing, and how to give you a solution to that. May not be the ultimate solution, may not be, let's say my mother's unwell. I'm not just going to say, okay, take off, but I will also be helpful to say, I'll come and meet you in person. I may not be able to even spend 1 rupee, but that's not all. The fact that my boss is coming and meeting me or saying, take off, don't worry, I will take care of work. That itself says everything. Having said that, I've had horrible women bosses where my mother has been in ICU. And when I spoke to my reporting manager, I said, my mother's in ICU, I will have to take off for 2 days. And the first thing that she said is, is there any work pending, which is obnoxious. So I think all the women managers out there, all the men managers out there, please understand what Sudhindra and Chaitanya mentioned is not just empathy. Please be sensitive to your team members. Understand what they're going through. Yes, you will have a lot of young professionals who are just coming out of college who will say, my grandmother died 10 times. So I've turned around and asked them, how many sets of grandparents do you have? You only will have choose one set of grandmother and grandfather from your maternal side and paternal side. But these things you will have to understand or assess which is fake and which is genuine. And if it's a genuine case, do not say what is the work pending, but please be more sensitive. Coming back to you, Sudhindra, for gender equality, promoting data, action, and accountability are paramount. What are your thoughts?
It's quite important that we aggregate the data and ensure that there is accountability to percolate gender equality at the workplace. This helps fundamentally in understanding the fact that women collaborate much better. There are studies, there are researchers, across the board. The consulting firms across the globe have published reams and reams on this. That women, to take up from some of the earlier points, women understand situations, complex situations much better. Women can multitask much better with greater efficiency than men can, given their own responsibilities that they have at the home front or the way they have been groomed from childhood. So their ability to multitask is that much more. In terms of holding recording data or aggregating it and trying to understand or percolate it, as I said, to gender equality, I think this also enables making very informed policy decisions on very strategic matters, where the involvement of women typically tends to be a little low as we speak. It also helps in understanding or going for a root cause analysis when something goes wrong, when something isn't going as per plan and budgets are faltering. It certainly helps in understanding what's going wrong. So that relentless root cause analysis is something that women can help significantly with. I've also observed that women tend to be more accountable and more responsible. This is not just a generic statement, and I say this with a lot of responsibility, that women tend to be more accountable and responsible for any task that is given. So I think a sum total of all these findings and personal experiences that I've had would go a long way in determining the gender equality is a reality, and it can be buttressed even further once everybody around starts to understand them.
I will also add that when you spoke about women are good policy makers, I think what they do is not just make a policy of 1, 2, 3 steps. They take a collective understanding of the process, of the situation, and then make a policy which is more universal. So I think that is inherent talent again of women. Do you want to add, Sirisha and Chaitanya, do you want to add to what Sudhindra mentioned?
I think, Srilata, the farther that a woman could see a situation, I think, I'm not saying men are myopic, but women can consider multiple directions and far-fetched impact that some action or a policy may have. I think that's something really special about women.
Sirisha, moving on, do you want to add one more point, Sirisha, or I can ask you next question?
Yeah, we can go to next question. I think both of them have covered. So empathy and collaboration was my point. Yes.
Sure. How do organizations help advance more women into leadership? This is for you, Sirisha.
Sure, Sri. Actually, I would correlate with the software industry to start with, but it will be applicable across. So I would say maybe I'll just touch base on 5 points. One is, as I was earlier mentioning, invite women into conversations. First of all, if a conversation about women should be held by women, so that way organization can give a fair opportunity to promote their thoughts and provide equal opportunities as an organization, regardless of how equal you might think your workplace is. Women still face obstacles, so such as like unconscious bias, stereotyping, and pay inequalities. So furthermore, then counter fewer opportunities to work. So that's where we have to go ahead and have organizations promote equal opportunities. Pay inequalities was one more thing I was talking about when I was talking about in policy thing, right? So if a corporate can address this disparities, nothing like that, And again, give opportunities for women to embrace some non-linear career paths. For example, right, in fact, I wanted to share that culture of nurturing women leadership and has drive some initiatives to promote that. And also, if you see, most women's career trajectories are interrupted due to various challenges, right? So to address this, for equal opportunities and parallel non-linear career paths within an organization should be encouraged for women. And as we quoted earlier, providing avenues to support work-life balance, where I personally don't believe there should be a line towards it, but women with familial responsibilities often find it challenging to work long hours. Maybe there can be some policies where, look at the productivity part and the outcome, not the number of working hours, right? So
absolutely. You spoke very like a true HR person, though you're not an HR person. Sirisha, I agree with what you're saying, because being in HR, I've heard a lot of managers who say that,
correct.
oh yeah, I don't want to give this lady responsibilities because she's not married today, but she'll get married tomorrow. And then subsequently she'll want to start a family. But the point is, maternity leave is entitled for a woman. And she's going to go on leave and come back and work. So why don't men understand that?
Yeah,
or why don't men understand the fact, while she may want to get married, or she will get married, and she probably will start a family, but she's also going to be an extremely productive and responsible team member of yours. So these, I think, men should open up their mindsets and accept the fact, as much as their mothers and their wives will want to do many things. And if they haven't done, they should understand that team members will want to do that.
Right. As an organization, right, Shri, to address this disparity, companies should create a culture that values work-life balance and provides women with necessary support. Like, for example, you can offer flexibility.
Crash in the office, crash in the office,
yes,
and so on and so forth. And men should also understand that, these are all part of life.
Physiological.
In today's age, in advanced age of technology, I don't care whether my team member is working from home or from office, correct, or from Timbuktu, as long as productivity is good.
Work is done.
But yes, from an HR perspective, again, Chaitanya will agree with me that it is important to connect with employees. You cannot do it on the Zoom calls and all. The connect between each other on a personal front is much more.
Correct. And last one,
but you should be flexible. I'm not saying allow them to work from home 365 days of the year, but allow them to work at least 3 times a week. They can come to office. Those kind of flexibility should be allowed.
Women also shouldn't take that as an advantage.
Absolutely.
So definitely it should be mutual. That's what I strongly always believe.
In fact, some organizations have come to the fact that saying, okay, you come in at 10 o'clock to work, you can go back at 3:34 or 4:30, go home and log in. That's fine. Because therein, what's happening is, she's beating the traffic. She doesn't have to get stuck in the traffic. She reaches home faster. And then, even if I have to log in at 9:30, it's still okay.
Yeah.
Chaitanya, my last question to you is...
One last point I want to add, Sri. To support this part, provide mentorship and training programs to enable women employees to climb up the ladder, right? So that is something where an organization can actually...
leadership skill training has to be imparted. Yes. Absolutely, yes.
Yes.
Chaitanya, my question to you is, women leaders are catalysts for change. Can you give examples from your own career?
Sure, Srilata. So there was a time when one of my bosses told me, Chaitanya, can you slow down? It's putting a lot of pressure on others in the team.
What did he mean by slow down?
Slow down meaning don't do so many interventions at one point of time. Right. Don't complete projects like this and too many things. So it's just putting pressure on rest of the team members. It was told to me. Can you imagine? And I know rest of those team members were primarily men. Again, no offense at all. And then there was a time when I worked in an organization which had about 50 people in the sourcing department, meaning their career progression, if they could look even 5 years ahead, they would think, oh, I want to become a recruiter. Recruiters would get their profiles from the sourcing team, right? So from that situation, there was a time when these sourcers had come to me as a group and said, you know what, Chaitanya, we never imagined that we could also think of being an HR business partner. We never thought that an HR person could add so much value to business. And you are our inspiration. We really want to think beyond the recruitment role, those kind of things. And way back, early stages of my career, it was possible to get a seat on the table when it comes to business discussions. And it was possible only because I could earn that credibility and speak the language of business, which in the past, it never happened that, I'm speaking about almost 20 years ago. HR professionals hardly had a seat on the table, right? And there are many more examples, Srila, I can go on, like HR shared services project at Novartis across the country. So we had 8 legal entities. If you can imagine animal health, where the employees go to remote villages and imagine their kind of, HR systems and procedures, to the most advanced Alcon, where our employees would stand in a operation theater where an ophthalmologist is conducting a very complicated surgery. So imagine the HR processes and tools that have to be different for various categories. So my change management intervention across the country was a global benchmark, and I have mentored after that many, many countries to, set up their shared services towards all these things. So good experience, I could say, good examples from my career. But yes, I have personally been successful in managing change and have seen really good women leaders managing change to the
wonderful, Chaitanya. I mean, you've done so much change management and brought in changes across across country, which is applauding, very, very applauding. Moving on to you, Sudhindra, my last question to you will be, I'm saying the last question because of the paucity of time. Role of women leaders in shaping tomorrow's world. Your thoughts, please.
This is obviously going to be paramount. They are the ones who will shape the way of life, the way things are to come. If diversity, equity, and inclusion have to get a real meaning, have to get their, if they have to be just, not be just words in the lexicon, but flow on to the real world, I think women have to be in the forefront. They will have a very compelling role to play in the days and years ahead. And we've already been seeing there are examples and examples galore that we have seen as to how women are leading from the forefront and how this is going to become that much more important. It is not merely from a viewpoint of ticking the boxes of being a diverse and equitable or an inclusive organization. It's also the fact that this will lead to greater social justice across the spectrum. This will lead to greater representation. This will also bring forth diverse perspectives. I think one thing that we tend to miss in the overall picture is that the diversity is not confined only to gender or ethnicity or nationality and so on. Thought diversity also is something which is so significant and so important. And women, by virtue of all the discussions that we have had over the last hour or so, I think it's fairly well established that the empathy, the sensitivity, and the ability to think out of the box or the ability to think in very different ways that women can bring to the table. I think that diversity of thought that they bring to an organization, that is going to be a real game changer. It is that which is going to drive India, particularly from where we are and where we will eventually be. So if India has to metamorphose and transform itself into that Vishwaguru, I think the role of women and the empowerment that is happening right now, that is going to be the determining the design, the critical paradigm as we go ahead. Again, since we spoke about the regime and the government, just a simple example, Chaitanya spoke about women being catalysts. And very truly, in the scientific meaning of the word itself, let's look at the Bharatiya Janata Party itself. It's a party of governance now for the last 10 years. It's moved so much forward, and it has catapulted India into the community of nations. And we have a position of pride in the global arena today. Yet about 30, 35 years ago, when the party was still a fledgling and was in its nascent stages, all that you and I knew of was Atal Bihari Vajpayee, who went on to become Prime Minister, or Lal Krishna Advani, who was very recently also conferred the Bharat Ratna. But we all tend to forget that there was a third and a very important pivotal fulcrum that was there for the party, and that person went by the name of Rajmata Vijayaraje Scindia, the Queen Mother from the erstwhile Sindhya Pradesh in Madhya Pradesh. She was that unseen hand. She was that catalyst. She was that ethos that was binding the BJP through, even as it was evolving all across. And if today the party has come to this position of shepherding a government which is living the dreams of the common man, it owes to a very large extent to the dreams, to the contribution of Rajmata Vijayaraje Scindia. So let's not forget the fact that the contribution of women transcends across the board, even in politics. No matter in what aspect of life you take, you will find that their role is always there. They have a hand that rocks the cradle. They have a hand which wields the ladle. And all this is possible only because they have a heart which is so very noble. I doff my hat to all the women on this momentous occasion.
No, I will also add that apart from the cradle and the ladle, they also have a stick in the hand. If you have a son or a husband or a daughter misbehaving, they will also give you a whack.
Well, the ladle itself becomes a stick.
Yes, the ladle becomes a stick. Yes. Adding to your points, Sudhindra, I will also mention that all the women, all the young students, girl students, all the young professionals who are getting into the corporate jobs, the ladies and the women, please do not limit yourself. I repeat, please do not limit yourself. Do not say, I can't do it because I'm a girl. I can't do it because I'm a woman. Or these are my capabilities. Men are more stronger. Like Sudhindra mentioned, men are physically stronger, but women are more mentally and emotionally stronger. So I think apart from what each of these wonderful people, the both ladies and the gentlemen spoke about, is I would like to emphasize all the young girls and young women and grown-up women, please do not restrict yourself. Please don't limit yourself. Sky is the limit. Understand what your strengths are and chase your goals. Have time frame, chase your goals. You will be a Kalpana Chawla, you will be a Ananda Shankar, you will be a Tejdeep Kaur Menon if you wish to do it. Do not compare yourself with somebody and say, oh, they could do it, but I can't do it. You can do it as much as they can, but you need to push yourself. But you need to set your goals.
No,
but you need.
Just
Let me finish. Let me just finish. But you need to chase your goals. You need to push yourself. You need to motivate yourself. Chaitanya or Sirisha or Srilata or Sudhindra are not going to motivate you. You need to do it yourself.
Correct. A small piece of advice added to what I just stuck my mind. Lot of us come with a baggage, right? So we need to just unload it, restart, and there are times to let some thoughts go. It's okay to take help. I feel personally,
it's absolutely you should take help.
And it's okay to say no sometimes, or it's okay to say I don't understand. Can you repeat?
Absolutely.
Nothing to be feeling offensive about it. And there is no, even if people form perceptions that she's not able to understand, it's fine as long as you do your work perfectly. I think we should treat these vulnerabilities as strengths but not weaknesses. That's what I wanted to add.
Absolutely, because like for example, I don't understand technology. You're a tech person. I don't understand technology. Of course, yes, today we are living in a so-called very advanced technology world. But if you ask me to sit and code or sit and decipher the phone that we use every day, I don't think I can. I use a smartphone, but I'm using 10% of it. So, but that's not my area. So you don't have to be a master of all. Be good at a couple of things. That's fair enough. My last question to you, Sirisha, is what are the outcomes of creating inclusive environments?
Sure, it's a good closing question. So, an inclusive workplace, Sri, it's very vital. The culture, in fact, we build in is very vital for both ethical and strategical business outcomes. That is what which matters end of the day for the organization. So, key strategies for inclusivity involve ensuring all employees feel valued and heard. Right, encouraging diversity and inclusion means you're creating a roadmap for innovation and productivity. So people feel more engaged and included. You can really see some creativity and productivity and feeling engaged, feeling part of being increased. Right, the real world examples provide a blueprint for like sustainable and inclusive company culture. What in a nutshell I would say is these environments will form a pillar for attract and retain a diverse workforce. And our summary is benefits of an inclusive workplace include improved employee engagement, loyalty, and business outcomes. I can not more than this. I'll watch for it.
All right.
Directly proportionate to what positive outcomes.
Sure. Thank you so much. Your last thoughts. We'll start with Sudhindra again breaking that paradigm of saying ladies first. We'll start with you, Sudhindra. Your last thoughts on this Women's Day and this topic.
I think it is, as I said, I just want to reiterate the fact that men and women need to consider each other as being complementary, as allies, and as being wheels in this chariot of life. I think it's not about equality. It's not about superiority, inferiority, or whatever. It is about being in it together. There is no such thing as independence. Life is all about interdependence. So that is all we will have to learn, assimilate, and live our lives with.
Thank you so much. So, Sirisha, you?
See, I would say just go with this mantra, na? Like think that why only men? Think yourself as a sole maker of the bread and butter at home and feel empowered. And that's how I think you can, every woman, advice to all the women hearing us and in general, think that's how you can progress in your career's job. And as I earlier said, use technology is at your hands, right? It's like you have a lot of learning aids to upskill yourself, and then there is a lot of organization help also you can bring in. So definitely utilize it and put yourself up to the ladder. That's what I
all right. Chaitanya, how about you?
I think as women, we just think we are human beings first and then women next. So I have all the potential, I have all the confidence. So that's, I think, the mindset with which we will go ahead. And let's all work towards a more equitable world today, tomorrow, and forever.
Absolutely. I will add to what Sudhindra mentioned is both men are women and women are equal partners, whether it's marriage, whether it's work. The men out there are giving a lot of support system to women. I'll go back with my own family example. My sister is an extremely successful artist. My brother-in-law is a very well-accomplished professional. He does not have one iota of jealousy or one iota of insecurity. I think this jealousy and insecurity factor is what is killing everything else. So I think both men and women should not be insecure or jealous, and they're equal partners in the same. They should walk together and not paddle. They should not walk like a railway track, but they should walk together. With that, I close. Thank you for being my panelist for this panel discussion. Thanks to Sudhindra, Sirisha, and Chaitanya. Chaitanya, I literally reached out to you in the 11th and a half hour. So thank you so much for accepting my invite. Thanks to MyStartupTV, Sunil, Purnima, who was coordinating for this entire event. Thank you so much. And thanks once again. Happy Women's Day and happy Shivratri.
And I do believe that this is not confined only to this day, but this permeates all the other 365 days of the year. This becomes a part of our life and not confined only to this day.
Absolutely.
Thank you all. Nice knowing you.
Wishing all the best.
Women's Day.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, Sunil.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to MyStartupTV.
Hi everybody, Thank you for joining us back. So I'm introducing Aarti Unnayar, Managing Director of Arner Consultancy Services Private Limited. Aarti is basically a seasoned hospitality professional with around, I think, 20 years of experience. She's worked with very big brands, prestigious brands like Oberoi, Hyatt, Radisson. After having worked with these brands, she transitioned to find Arner in 2017. So beyond business, she also champions a lot of social causes. She's founded the Unnati Social Development Foundation Trust, which is dedicated to educating underprivileged children. So welcome, Aarti. Thank you so much for joining us on the show. And I would like to take this opportunity to wish you a very, very happy International Women's Day.
Thank you.
I have a few questions for you. Your journey with Arner Consultancy Services and your social work, I want to say, is commendable. And my first question to you would be, what drove you to establish Arner Consultancy Services Private Limited?
So the transition happened in a way like as I was into the hospitality industry, hotel industry for so long, and I wanted to go for a small break before getting into a big role. So I was onto my bigger platform, bigger role, and to get into that platform, I wanted a bit of a break. So that was a break when I wanted so that I can get ready for that opportunity. So I took that break, and that break was like for approximately 2 months or 3 months. So I was on that break, and during my travel, during my sales meetings and all, there was a UK company which had come across to me, and they knew that I'm on this break, and they were into this. They wanted to get into the Indian market, and they wanted to introduce their company into this Indian market, and they wanted my help for that. So initially when they approached me, I was working with the hotels, and I refused that I am working with a hotel. I cannot get into this assignment. So when they came to know that I am on a break, they approached me again, and they said that you don't have to do anything. You just have to give it 3 hours and help us establish into this market. So that was the time when I helped them into this project. This was a small project, and this project went up to 6 months. So it was good financially. It was good. Everything was good, and I was just giving three hours of my day, which was fine for me. So slowly and gradually, this was like it didn't spark me, but it sparked my husband. Establish a non-branded company which is not in India also, and you have established it into the Indian market. Why can't you grow your own brand? So that was one thing which struck me also. And he was like, stop minting money for others now. Start doing it for yourself. So from here, the idea of getting into my own business started off, where it made me also think that, yes, if I can establish a non-branded company into the Indian market, then why can't I make myself a brand for this market? I know people, I have connections. So that was the starting phase, how Arner came into the picture. So that's how Arner began. And since I have the expertise of hospitality, so we got into tour, travel, event management, weddings. So these were our specialized areas where we started in this slow and steady manner. We started coming one by one into the field.
Very nice, very nice. Why don't you also tell us what all services does Arner Consultancy provide?
Okay, so Arner Consultancy Services was established in 2017. As you also know that it's a tour and travel company. So along with tour travel packages, we do hotel bookings, we do events, we do seminars, we do exhibitions and weddings. Apart from this, Arner Consultancy Services is also into security, manpower and talent acquisition. So as I told you that Arner means 5 elements. So we are into 5 segments. So it's tour and travel, events, weddings, your security and manpower, and talent acquisition.
And just before we started talking, we were talking offline before this, and you told me a beautiful story behind the word Arner. I think it's made up of your last 3 letters of your husband's name. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yes. So Arner is 2 initials of Aarti, AR, and NAR is the Naren. So NAR. So that's how we came with the name of Arner into it.
And so do you basically, do you contribute about 2/5 and does Naresh contribute about 3/5 work-wise and contribute?
You have to come again with your question.
I was just saying, is the contribution towards the efforts also in the same ratio? Do you give about 2/5 and does Naresh give about 3/5?
No. The contribution is equal because as my expertise are into sales and marketing and business development, he holds the expertise into, because he's from the Air Force background, so he holds the expertise of strong administration, HR, your policies. So all these things, our company policies, our HR policies, and our administration is everything taken care by him only, and he manages our finances also. So as I get the business into the company, he's the one who drives the policies, who drives the salaries, who pays out the salaries of the employees. So he's the one who takes care of that part. So equally, you're running the vehicle.
Equal distribution of work.
Yeah,
right?
Equal distribution of work.
So I've heard of Shri Traveler India. I think that is one of the initiatives of our nurse. Could you highlight and talk a little bit more about Shri Traveler India? What is that?
Yeah, Shri Traveler India is basically a vertical which is only for my female travelers. So as being into the industry for so long, I have been seeing that our Indian women, they depend on their husbands, their brother, father to accompany them wherever they want to travel. So, and because of which they are not able to travel because these people don't have time. For traveling, you need time. So these people, then the ladies, they hold themselves back and say, okay, next time we'll do it. Next time never comes. So with that concept, we came into the picture that, okay, don't depend on your male counterparts. Don't depend on the male people. Just come back to us. Tell us your requirements and we will give you end-to-end services. So what Shri Traveler does is Shri Traveler gives you end-to-end services. It gives you stress-free, travel-free, hassle-free, and a complete travel freedom for our female travelers. We also organize women-based events in this vertical. So it's celebrating your travel experiences with Shri Traveler. Unnati Social Development Foundation was like, I am into workouts also. So me and my friend, we were coming out from our workout session, and we saw a small child who was begging on the road, and his hand was amputated, and still he was begging, and it was bleeding. So we tried to go close to him, and we wanted to just pamper him, and we wanted to just ask him what is happening and why is he begging. So when he saw us, he ran away. So there were other children also who were outside, who were begging where he was begging. So the florist, he told us that don't go near these children because they have been continuously watched. So today they are begging here, tomorrow because you are continuously going and trying to meet these children. Today they will be begging here, tomorrow they'll be sent somewhere else. So don't go near them. They are into the trap of begging because of somebody is watching them. So this thing came into our mind that and if these children are begging, only then there are people who are getting benefits out of it. We need to stop this. So then me and my friend started off with this drive that we should be stopping begging, and we should be going to the slum areas. We should be speaking to their parents. We should be making them understand that the children should not be begging. Their right is to study and give them the right education. So we had a doctor on our panel. We came up with this idea that let's move out, let's open up an NGO. Let's come up with an NGO who will be working towards this cause, because nobody as an individual will listen to me. So we gathered approximately 9 ladies, and then we moved out in a group in these slum areas, and we had a psychologist also along with us, who used to convince the parents of these children who used to beg around that you should not be begging, but you should be studying. So for them, it was like, if the children are studying, for them, it's like you are cutting off one of their hands from getting money home. Because at the end of the day, these children are also contributing a certain amount towards their livelihood. But then we assured them that you are doing this for food, right? So we will be providing you this food, but send these children to school. So we are responsible. We are responsible for their school education. We are responsible for their stationaries. We are responsible for their midday meals, and we are responsible for all their basic education, what they are getting into our school. So we run a small open school for these children, and now we started with 2 children, and now we have 70 children in our school. So and these are all beggar children who are converted from beggars to regular school going children. We are getting something from the society, right? We are earning. We are whatever events we are getting, whatever we are getting, my clients are from the society only. So we need to give it back to the society, to that level of people who are underprivileged. So this is how then Unnati came into this thing that okay, society is giving us something, we need to give it back. So this is how then the idea of Unnati came into the picture.
Very nice. I must say, you guys are doing a commendable job. I applaud you for all the efforts and keep up the good work. You happen to be the project guys. So, any challenges? Please talk about the challenges that you face or are facing. Balancing your various roles. Being a 4G wife is not an easy task. It has its own roles to play. So, talk to me and talk to our viewers about that.
Yeah, being a 4G wife, yes, definitely we do have some challenges. But after all, those challenges can be overcome, because if you have a supporting husband, so the challenges can obviously be overcome. So yes, my challenges were like I being into the hotel industry and he being into the defense background. So army people, the defense people are posted every 3 years. If you know, so they get their postings in every 3 years. So when I got married, my husband was posted in Goa and I was working in Delhi. So for any lady whose husband is posted in Goa, so it's a beautiful posting. So anybody would leave the job and go and join her husband and settle over there for some time till the time the place is Goa like place. But I chose my career on top of everything. So for me, my career was everything, and I did not join my husband when he was working when he was posted in Goa. After that, when he came, because see, for us it's like co-location postings are very difficult, because if he's there in Goa for a certain time, so no hotel will give me will place me in the hotel when they know that okay, her job is based on her husband's postings. So for me, my job was secured in Delhi. I wanted to be in Delhi because for me my job was my priority. So I did not move out with him to Goa. After that, from after Goa, then he came back. He came to Agra. Then I had to shift from Delhi to Agra. So these are the loophole. These are the challenges which we face, that we have to change our jobs as per their postings. Now this second challenge is like where they are posted. It's not necessary that what kind of hotel I am working with is over there also, or a branch is also over there. So if I'm working with 5-star hotels, if he is posted in Thois or Siachen, I will not be having a hotel over there. So for that, either I will have to stay back, or I will have to go along with him and leave my job and go along with him. So these are the challenges that are faced over there during that time. Also, there are a few more challenges. Protocols. You have protocols also to follow. The protocols are like there are some defense, there are parties happening. There are some for meetings. The meetings which are held at the station with the station commander's wife and the other lady officers' wives over there, and which work towards the betterment of the place where you're staying over there, of that station. If you are working in the civil setup, kind of a setup, you are very less into all these things. And then you have to face those challenges, because then you have your seniors' wives who are looking up to you, and they keep on saying that you're not there. So these are also the challenges which you have to face, and which every time you have to be on your toes. So you have to contribute here also, and you have to contribute there also in your workplace. So then you have got challenges for contributing in both the places and equally. So you cannot say that I am less over here or I'm more over there. So it's like you have to be equally present at both the places. So these are the challenges. But yes, I have a supportive husband who always used to tell me that if at all you are not able to attend the meetings at the Air Force station, please concentrate on your work, because I will handle all these things. I cannot handle that. I cannot handle your hotel. What happens there? I cannot handle that. But at least I can handle things over here. So you concentrate there, and if you are not able to contribute towards the Air Force thing, I will help you out doing that.
Very nice.
Easy. The things became easy for me, and he never forced me to get posted wherever he was posted. He never told me that come along with me. He first told me that take care of your job first, and there will be a time when we'll be together. And today we are together.
Very nice. I wish all working women get such supportive husbands. A lot of them are, just like wives are supportive of their husband's career. I think it's equally important that men also are supportive of their wives' careers. And thank you for sharing these examples. Any future plans do you have for Arnar? I'm sure you do, but anything for Arnar as well as for the trust, the Development Foundation Trust, both of them?
Yeah, when it comes to the trust, yes, we do have expansion plans, because we are working towards the as of now we are working for the underprivileged children. Now our future plan is to work for the skill to skill the ladies for the women empowerment. So there are ladies. We have recently opened up a setup for stitching and embroidery center for the ladies in through our trust, where we have approximately 25 ladies who come and who are learning stitching and embroidery from us. So future plan is like, if we teach them how to stitching and embroidery work, so in future we will be using their skills towards towards the necessity of the market, where now those potlies are being made, where you have got wedding requirements. These potlies are used for many of the things. So we are coming up with such concept that these ladies, they make such things, and we will be supplying it to the vendors who require these potlies or those decorative bags for the hampers. Plus we will be getting them contracts from the surrounding factories for shirts or gloves. So these ladies will be getting their salary also from us, and they'll be learning their skill also. So this is our future plan. This is our future plan for the trust. And now when it comes to Arnar, yes, of course, Arnar will not stop only for weddings, event management, tour and travel, security and facility management. We will be surely getting further. We are getting into the international market also now. And as of now, Arnar has only 2 offices. But yes, in future, we are planning to have more offices in Pan India, so that our operations are not, as of now, we have got vendors through whom we operate, but in future, we will have our offices settled there.
Very nice. Thank you so much. Any advice for aspiring entrepreneurs, aiming to make a positive impact, aiming to make it a success of their business and all of that? And that would be my last question, but if you could have some.
Yes. See, this is the last but not the least question, and it's the most important question. To all the aspiring women entrepreneurs, I would just like to say is, believe in yourself, believe what you are doing. No thing is big or small. Anything, whatever strength you have, your talent, your hobby, please use it and take it further. You never know, your smallest hobby can make you a multi-billionaire also. So just believe in yourself, do whatever you do, just think of doing it. Don't sit, but do it. Whatever comes to your mind, just give it a try at least. Even if I wouldn't have given try to myself also, I wouldn't have come up to this level where I am. I would be happy. I would be happy with those figures coming into my bank account. I would be happy at the first day of the month that my salary has been credited to my account, and I'll be happy. I did not go for that. I had to leave something to achieve this. So don't get disheartened. Just give it try. Just give tries, and you will definitely succeed. So,
but it's important to get into the action mode.
Yes, you have to get into action. You have to recognize yourself, and whatever small things that you achieve, please start appreciating yourself for that. That is the only motivation that you can get as of now, what you can give to yourself, and you can give to yourself. So start believing in yourself. This is what I want to say.
Thank you so much for joining the show today, and I again wish you a very, very happy Women's Day. I wish you a lot of success. I wish Arna Consultancy a lot of success.
Thank you so much, and thank you for giving me this platform and this audience where I could come and speak over. And thank you, Shetty sir, to give me this platform and giving me this recognition. Thank you so much.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to My Startup TV.
It was, in fact, very pleasant. You would all be surprised because in Madurai University, Dr. Ashirvadam was the general surgeon. He wanted women to join general surgery. So I had a very pleasant experience with him, and I learned a lot from him, including vast history of general surgery and what the surgeons did at that time. That gave me an inkling into the true beauty of surgery, how they all suffered at that time. That made me think even our people in India must have gone through the same difficulties, but there was nobody to account for it, nobody to document it. But whatever happened in Britain had been documented very well. That's how I learnt about history then. Now, I'm so glad that all of you have decided to chronicle everything now. It will make a real mark in future. And that was my experience in Madurai. In Madras Medical College, also it was very similar. I worked under Dr. Vasudevan, who encouraged me, gave me full freedom to visit other surgeons' techniques and learn from them. And so I must tell you, it was very pleasant, or it is continuing to be pleasant with my colleagues working along with me, my friends, and my students, and those who work under me also. Maybe you might think I'm exaggerating a little, but no, this is a fact. This is how my life has been, and I'm enjoying it even now. When I was posted as the assistant professor at the Institute of Child Health and Hospital for Children, it is the largest hospital for children in India. And I found several infants, several babies dying in front of me. There was no infrastructure. There was no equipment. And the equipment that we got from Madras Medical College were all broken, repaired. So I thought something had to be done. And the government came to my help, the state government of Tamil Nadu, central government. And through them, I could get into World Bank and finally the government of Japan that saw the institute, were impressed with primary, secondary, and tertiary care in one building and decided to give 28.8 crores for just equipment, 250 equipment they gave. And our department benefited entirely because we got the best infrastructure. And that is how we were able to build up that department and continue. When I came out, still there were 700 children waiting, and I thought one center which was well equipped was not sufficient, and so I started the SOCAN. It was a difficult task getting not only the infrastructure, the team we were able to manage because all our friends from government hospitals joined together to do it. But the difficulty was to find a proper hospital with a proper infrastructure. We managed to get it in public health center. Now came the biggest challenge of all, funds. When I was in government service, I told you all the state, center, everyone helped, the bureaucrats helped. And so I was able to do whatever I wanted, try to find out how anemia, how hemoglobin maintained during perfusion was the real crucial factor which decreased mortality in children in the immediate post-operative period. That I learned with all the investigations, the blood gases done those days. The equipment used to be so huge and it had to be calibrated, solutions spent, cost was exorbitant. But I was able to do it because the government helped. When I came out, I realized that it was not possible to get funds like that. And so I went about contacting the government hospital, the government, state government itself. Had a few friends there who helped me and then started this public-private partnership with the government. And then with other components of society like organizations, philanthropists, campaigns, started collecting funds. Now I have a fund of a large fund of about 50 lakhs, from which I keep doing patients who are underprivileged free of charge. So I managed, and now I have a large fund, as I told you. And with that fund, I am doing surgeries continuously. And I get the patients from different districts of Tamil Nadu. My target population is India. So with my website and trying to let others know, patients are coming from faraway places, from different states, because they are all poor. I'm not concentrating on others. Just the poor come. I was mainly children I have started doing, but I started doing adults because some of them came and said that they needed, and their history was pathetic, and decided to do it. That's what I'm continuing to do now. We have a partnership with Children's Hospital Boston, who, with the IQIC and International Quality Improvement Collaborative, they help us in upgrading our knowledge of post-operative care and maintaining risk factors. Our data also goes to them. They come here, check our data. We learn from that hospital. Our anesthesiologist went there and refreshed his knowledge. I am proud to say I have a good dedicated team, because this is only for poor, and you can't expect that I pay very heavily. In spite of it, this team helps me a lot. And so that the first step, the anesthesiologist is back here, and we have started doing challenging cases in infants also. It has been an uphill task. It was very, very difficult to get these children, because they are all malnourished, and the respiratory infection, as you would all know, has been vexing, and we have found out ways. We have a shelter in a destitute home where they stay, and we make sure that they are prepared well before taking the surgery. We are following them. We are documenting all these facts to find out when they become really normal with the cardiac function and physiology, everything. How long does it take? So we have documents to prove what we are saying, and that's how it's going on. Excuse me, I always thought this is nothing extraordinary. Anybody who would decide to do it would do it. And what we are doing is also not very, very different from what others are doing. What we are aiming at is perfection in what we are doing. We are trying to modify all techniques to tailor to our needs, to our forms, to our patients. And you know that the problems in India, whatever you learn from the West cannot be applied. What I saw in Roger Mee in Royal Children's Hospital, Melbourne, I couldn't apply it to Institute of Childhood. I found all those children dying in front of me. So I realized that if hemodilution is the factor that allows oxygen to be taken to the tissues, here they were already hemodiluted. And when you hemodilute them further when they go on bypass, the post-operative period was catastrophic. When I realized that, I cut short everything, the lines, the oxygenator, everything I cut short. And then realized that 7.5 grams of hemoglobin was a must. That was a watershed. And once I maintained that, the mortality came down. But now I realize when on bypass, even now I'm following them up. The same, if they go below 7.5, nothing really happens post-op because there are other risk factors. If they are maintained properly, you can really win. That's not a single individual risk factor when other factors are maintained. When I started, when everything was new, nothing was perfect. At that time, it was catastrophe. Now, the same hemoglobin can come down to 5.5. I need not fear if it's a short bypass. But we are very, very careful. If we go down, we bring it up immediately, and we are trying to be as safe as possible. As I told you earlier, this is nothing new. All of you would be doing the same thing. But what is different with me was I saw such children dying then. All of them dying right in front of me. But now I'm seeing them living. So I know the differences between the infrastructure and no infrastructure. In no infrastructure, it is terrible. Now you have ventilators to modify, you have so many things which can be done. And it's a pleasure to do cardiac surgery today. Blessed are all of you who are born now. You would learn more. And I saw that one of you had a fellowship in robotic surgery. It's great. See, the more the advances get developed and the better the management, it's a pleasure for the professional also and for the patient also. While I am determined to see all advances come to the patient population whom I am working on, all these are steps. And the surgeons who work along with me are younger than me. So probably they'll carry the baton onwards. And we are definitely going to see the underprivileged people who are really neglected get the best. That is our goal, the goal of Hearts for Hearts. And so can project. That's how we are going.
I really didn't work with Dr. Cooley. I was there in Texas Heart. There are operating rooms, which are about 10 operating rooms, and they're assigned to each surgeon there. I worked mostly in OR5. It was Dr. George Rule's operation theatre. So I assisted him in most of the surgery. It just happened that one day Dr. Rules, the residents used to assist Dr. Cooley, and the fellows were assisting other surgeons. There were about 40 to 50 fellows in the center. So one day his resident asked me to scrub him, and I thought he's operating and he needs somebody to help him. So when I scrubbed him, it was a small baby being for a VST closure. And once the chest was open and baby was ready to go on bypass, Dr. Cooley scrubbed up and washed up to close the VST. That was the only time I assisted him or I saw him very close. But I did watch him doing a lot of aneurysm surgeries those days. He would do all the worst aneurysms which were coming, but he would operate for 5 days continuously and then take a week off and go off to his ranch or somewhere else. So there was lots to learn that how one should work and how one should balance the life. And he would walk through all operating rooms. It's not that he kept himself aloof. And he'll come and ask questions while we were operating. He would ask, what have you done and what was it? So it was very nice interacting, but I can't say I worked directly with him for all the time that I was at PHI. There were very few women. There was no woman cardiac surgeon over there, neither as a resident nor as a fellow. So it was a sort of unusual for them to see from India a lady coming and as a cardiac surgeon, So I used to get lot of inquisitive looks. And the fellows are usually very good. They are mostly senior positions. And they come there to see basically Dr. Cooley operate and then go back and do what they have learned. It was a very nice atmosphere. We did lot of presentations in the beginning on, we were doing in fact on total deep hypothermia and total circulatory arrest. And the results were good with Dr. Cherian, although not so good, right, you would expect now. But at that time, he was the only one who could come out with 50% survivors or 60% survivors. And he was very honest with his presentation. That was what I admire about Dr. Cherian. And I have seen patients not waking up, going into coma. I had one child who became blind. When I was doing residency, it gave me a lot of heartache at that time. A 6-8 months old child losing his eyesight. And fortunately, he recovered it spontaneously after some 8 to 10 weeks. We don't know what was the pathophysiology, probably some optic emboli or something. So that time the articles were coming on these low flow techniques. And I followed those articles and I found Mr. Debrol, he was at Leeds that time, who was a chief investigator. So I corresponded with him and I wanted to learn that because that was the thing we were used to, conventional bypass, plus the total circulatory arrest and hypothermia was quite messy. You had to cool the child in ice and everything was really messy in the theater. So when I went there, basically my purpose of going to Guy's Hospital was to learn that technique. And it was quite simple. All it required, and which we didn't have that time, was specific thin walled pacifico cannulae for cannulation so that you could keep sufficient flows and venous returns. And it seemed to work very well. When I came back, I had brought a lot of those used cannulae with me. We re-sterilized them and used them. And slowly everyone got used to it, and that's how it started. You would want to know something more? And maybe briefly what I feel I had thought to share with you was that you should really are doing great work. All of you, what I was watching, you are been very brave and courageous. And I think we have easy time because there were not too many women. And now as the numbers are multiplied because there are more voices coming in. So that's why you feel there is discrimination or something. Secondly, I don't know how many of you have seen the recent webinar on STS on women representation, global representation in cardiac surgery. Have you people seen that? It's a global problem, but I feel as the numbers increase, even men face these discriminations. There is no end to it. It all depends on the attitude, yours and the centers wherever you are training. So one should remain positive and harness your best energy. And find a support, whether it is a male, a female, it does not matter, in your specialty or outside, with whom you can really discuss your issues and find out solutions. And I used to call it action learning. That when you discuss problems, the solutions come out. When you ask the outsiders, they don't know what you are facing, and it's difficult to advise, that way. This is my personal feeling, but I really don't know whether there are something else. As far as you have mentioned a lot of pace differences, I don't think that matters. There at least didn't matter for me because I was working in a public hospital, municipal scales, or UGC scales, which was same for the men and women. I had a lot of support from all my colleagues, either seniors or my contemporaries, and I made good friends with outside Dr. Raj Tandon. He was a pediatric cardiologist in AIMS, Delhi. So, it's more you widen your circle, you broaden your own outlook also.
I've been hearing the real legends who have been there in India, that is Dr. Srimati and Dr. Ratna Mangotra, who also had happened to be my MCH examiner. So we have heard from them. So my experience may not be of that caliber, but I have had an experience which was it was very pleasant and a very nice journey all through the cardiac surgery career while I was from my starting in cardiac surgery until my retirement from Tirupati. So presently, I'm not in Tirupati, in Sri Venkateswara Institute of Medical Sciences. I'm working as Dean of Integral University in Lucknow, and I'm the Dean for the Faculty of Medicine and Health Sciences here. So I'm basically looking after mainly the education part, as well as I do a bit of vascular surgery here at the moment. So as my journey goes, choosing cardiac surgery as a career was a very big, it was between two inverted commas, whether I should take it up or whether I should not take it up. But as I was doing my internship after my MBBS and when I was posted in surgery, my first posting was under a neurosurgeon. And I remember that in the very first week on the rounds itself, when he took me to the theater, he made me do a VP shunt. And I was really excited about it. And that was Professor Mazhar Hussain, who happens to be one of the leading neurosurgeons in Lucknow at the moment. I'm in Lucknow at present. So this is my hometown. So that was really fascinating. And then when I joined my house job in surgery, this was at Aligarh Muslim University, which is one of the central universities of India. So my first posting was in cardiothoracic surgery under Dr. M.H. Beg. And he was quite an enthusiastic young surgeon that time. He started mainly with thoracic surgery, so I saw a lot of thoracic being done there, including lobectomies, pneumonectomies. He used to do CMBs also once in a while. And I think at the time when I was doing my MS in general surgery, that was the time when... Anyway, so once I was in general surgery and working with Dr. Beg in cardiothoracic unit, I was really fascinated with thoracic surgery itself. And when I was about to finish my MS general surgery, the department had acquired a heart-lung machine, and Dr. Professor Gujral from Chandigarh used to come and help Dr. Beg out with doing ASTs and mitral valves. So that was the start of cardiac surgery at Aligarh Muslim University. Though at that particular time, after finishing my MS in general surgery, I took up pediatric surgery. And I was working in pediatric surgery for almost a year and a half as a registrar. And then that was the time when I saw a bit of cardiac surgery at Aligarh. And when I came back home to Lucknow, my intention was to join MCH pediatric surgery, but I think my fate took me towards cardiac surgery. And I joined as non-MCH resident in Sanjay Gandhi Institute in Lucknow in 1989. And so I remained as a non-MCH resident for 2 years. And then I joined as MCH in 1991 and completed my MCH from Sanjay Gandhi in 1994. And thereafter, I moved over out of UP to Bombay. And this was the time when I really had a lot of experience working with Dr. Dev Saxena in his unit in Bombay Hospital. And I think that was the time when I gained a lot of confidence and a lot of techniques I learned from him. He used to give a lot of tips during and after seeing, when I used to do surgeries there, he used to give a lot of opportunities. So there was nothing like there had been a gender bias or they don't like girls. But Bombay always welcomed girls. That's what I felt there. And I had a wonderful time for whatever short duration I spent with him. In the meantime, I had applied at Tirupati and was given a call to join as assistant professor in Department of Cardiothoracic Surgery in Tirupati, which was still a very primitive department at that time, though they were doing some amount of cardiac surgery. The number of surgeries they were doing, like I remember in my first year, they did about 38 surgeries the whole year. Next year, it increased to 52. And following year, then the sequence went up and the numbers went up to about 200, 250. And finally, by the time I left, we were doing almost 500 plus cases in Tirupati. So I have been operating pediatric, adult, thoracic, vascular, everything, because this was a teaching institute and we did have MCH also. So I had to do everything there. This in case, because I had to teach my students also. Though there were not many students we got through, but yes, whatever we got, I have trained them. And one of them is Dr. Govini Subramani, who's in Chennai, and he's one of the transplant surgeons there, quite a well-known one. So he's been doing well. There are a few of them who have become professors in Andhra in their respective government colleges. So they also have been doing well. So I have been I have been on my own most of the time, and I have learned the skills from all my teachers. Then I have opted for some fellowships through the ICTS, that is the SS Anand Fellowship. So you can have some experience with very good surgeons. Though I did go and worked for thoracic with Dr. Unikrishnan, and that was thoracic and vascular fellowship. So I had a very good experience of vascular, basically, with Dr. Unikrishnan there at Sri Chitra Institute. So it's not, I never went up outside India, but I have been outside India, but not on any fellowship or any particular term period, spending some time in foreign countries. Most of the skills which I learned were from my teachers only here, my seniors. And then later I took the Rebeds Fellowship, for which I was in Bombay with Dr. Manke, Dr. Saxena. Both of them taught me a lot of skills in coronaries that time. And this is how I've been learning. And the only place where I went was Hong Kong, the Prince of Wales University, where on my own, and to learn the skills of video-assisted thoracoscopic surgery. So this was all the experience which I gained through, and whatever was there was through books, like observing people operating, attending workshops live, and then coming and performing yourself in your own institution. So this has been there. And of course, later part of my career also, when I was professor, I just decided, let me appear for the National Board of Examination and see how much I remember the text. So I went and appeared for the National Board of Examinations in 2007 and got through it. And then, of course, now coming back home, because I had some other task on my other end, like building up a house and settling here. So that took me about a year and a half. So I took up a lighter job of an administrator. And this brought me to Integral University. I never went there. They only invited me. And I just look about take care of the education for the MBBS student, the postgraduate students. It's a new university, so we are getting up some new courses coming in. So it's a totally different experience right now. And we are going to start the cardiac surgery program here, I think in another year's time. And this is all I would say as of now. So the only thing what I felt was, as a resident in Sanjay Gandhi, of course, that was the time when myocardial protection was a big question mark. We used to use the crystallite cardioplegia, and sitting in the ICU, we used to see that a lot of patients are developing arrhythmias at that time. And slowly it was Professor Prabal Ghosh who got in the blood cardioplegia, then warm heart surgery came. So Sanjay Gandhi, being a new institution, was also in the learning phase that time. So this was what I would say. And when I went to Tirupati, I started with my own Like there also they were using crystalloid cardioplegia at that time. And then there I introduced the warm heart surgery and the blood cardioplegia, and we did have much, much better results. So this is all I would say from my side. If any questions are there, I can answer them.
Delighted to hear so many living legends. As I was discussing with ma'am, Ava ma'am, that she has been a force of nature for all of us. Srimati ma'am, Ratna ma'am. I mean, it is a delight to know them, how they've gone through. When I started medicine, there were hardly 13 or 14 girls in my class who were inclined to do medicine, including me. And when I moved to MBBS, out of 100 students in my 100 student class, there were only 30 odd people who were were doing MBBS. Post graduation, mostly my friends went to OBG. I went to surgery. In surgery, the male colleagues, they mostly preferred orthopedic by saying that it is the end specialty, ek bar ho gaya to ho gaya, and you're a specialist. People who went into surgery always had a issue, what next? To do MCH or not to do MCH? So women were normally not very happy to do that as a normal path. It was not a near norm kind of stuff, because by the time you're actually into it, you're around 25, you have a pressure of marriage. I have seen my seniors give through their marriages and everything, like it was work is worship kind of it. So the trend is changing now. Women are more into work-life balance. So people wanted to settle by the time they're 26, 27. Marriage was an option. And on top of it, there's an underrepresentation of women in neurosurgery, in cardiac surgery. Why? Because it's a long drawn path, a high stress job. Your parents will also tell you, why should you do this? There are better things to do than do this. Take care of children. When you join, your faculty will tell you, are you married? If you're not married, why don't you marry and have a house? I've heard all of it. I've done MCH twice, and I've done MCH, got only one degree, MCH cardiothoracic surgery, but I've done it twice for different reasons, which I will not like to discuss for the time. Not that because I was not good, because of what we call as gender discrimination. Gender discrimination can pose its head anytime in our life. The only way we can, go on top of that is, and also it was there because of a lack of, because we were not talking to each other, and there was that time a lack of female role models, mentors, and a perceived lack of opportunities. So what happened was all this with just gender discrimination also turned its head inside. So I'm not saying that it is not part of other faculty, other professions also. It is there. What has happened over the time is women have evolved. First, either they had to only choose their profession or a married life or children. It's been, if you go through these responses which we got, it's like, all over the place. People didn't prefer having children. People didn't prefer getting married. If they got married, they didn't have children. So it is changing over the time. Why? Because we have people who have done wonderful effort in this field. And also now, because of we can get out of this by promoting, having more initiative, promoting diversity, including everyone, and mentorship. And I want you to encourage women to pursue careers in medicine and become resourceful and have a good professional development. We, as the role models now, because we are the ones we are standing right now facing the brunt or the influx of information, we can make it or break it for the next coming generation. We had it tough. We can make it easier for them by being their mentors. We can give them a better scope, give them a better feel as the next coming generation. So I want all of us to, join together and do this project together with us. In India, we have a very, a strange, very ajib kind of looking at way. If an Indian female is a doctor, they'll call her a nurse. But if their daughter becomes a doctor or clears medical entrance, they go on clapping saying that my daughter has become, doctor. They want to see the heroine as a doctor, but they don't want their daughter-in-law to go ahead with a lot of stuff being a doctor, because they wanted to do the homework also. But with the gender discrimination coming down by good amount of education and get people getting sensitive to this thing has now really become very, very on a minor side with our flow. I would also now like to ask the next generation, which is in the in the second order of this thing, to give their valuable opinion. How are they managing all this? Thank you so much.
Hello everyone. I'm sure everyone is like in a hurry now because of the time shortage. So I'll go very quickly. After what I've heard of Dr. Srimati ma'am and Dr. Ratna, I think I am not supposed to say anything. They have beaten the odds and been there when we were not even born. So in cutthroat practice, I mean, I would genuinely still say that it is very difficult to survive in private. I mean, medical colleges, even I now retrospectively wish I was in some medical college, but I am not. So in private practice, to get patients, starting from patients, to see beyond the breast, a woman surgeon can be a thoracic surgeon beyond the breast, that itself is a task. So starting from being a nurse, being called a nurse by the doctors, by the patients, and someone pointed out today in the group that women are not, I mean, motivating. So the women themselves, they are the first, sometimes the worst critics. So I think that with this kind of group, we should be able to join together and make things easier for our and the next generation to come. Because in thoracic surgery, at least, I'm not a cardiac surgeon, but in thoracic surgery in private practice, to make a name, to form a niche that you start getting referred thoracic patients, it takes a long time. It takes a lot of struggle, and the amount of efforts to put in are at least 3 to 4 times of any male counterpart. It just doesn't happen. So I have gone through it, and I am quite happy with where I am. I've learned to be very satisfied with just doing good work. Maybe I do 3-4 surgeries less than the contemporary, but it's okay as long as I'm doing a good job out of it. But I think this society, this group should join together and make things. Think that with something which I did good was, and which should be done, is choose a good mentor. So I was lucky in all 3 mentors when I had. My first was general surgery, Dr. Roy, who was head of department of Baba Atomic Research Center. He was totally in equalist, in fact, a pro girl surgeon, because he used to say women surgeons have got better hands. So I got a strong mentor there who used to not hesitate to punish us either. I got a very good mentor in my thoracic surgery. I got Dr. Bhabatosh Vishwas who was one of the best mentors, very calm-headed fellow, but no difference between, no gender discrimination. And I got a very good mentor in the form of post my DRNB in form of Dr. Ramakant Deshpande, who's a Padma Shri awardee for thoracic surgery. And he used to say, you be a he, a she, or a it, I don't care, my work has to get done. So you have to be, for people who are starting out in private practice, take a pause. After your CTVS or thoracic training, join into a place under a good mentor for 3 to 4 years. Work, put your head down and work very hard. You start off a little late than your contemporary male people, because you will not get patients so easily. But the 3-4 years after your MCH or your DRNB, if you are under a good mentor and you work it out, then slowly and steadily your practice will build up. There is just no shortcut to it, and there is no trick or tip for it to get patients faster. You just have to wait your time out. But to get the right, I mean, from trachea to esophagus, the only thing which has helped me is that Dr. Vishwas used to say that what your eyes cannot, what your mind knows, only that your eyes will see. So when you are not getting good cutting priya, just put your head down and read. So that is what helped me when I came on to doing work with Dr. Deshpande, and that's how I built up my practice. So once you do that, slowly and eventually the name will start coming up. That's what my experience is.
Hi, good evening, everybody. It's such a it's honor for me that I'm here in front of all the biggies. And I would also like to express my deepest gratitude to Dr. Srimati ma'am and Dr. Abhachandra ma'am Dr. Abachandra has been my examiner during my DNB days. So, see, I haven't prepared any slides, but with your permission, all of you, if you all permit me, I would like to introduce myself first with a few lines, and then I'll talk about my journey in short, just the highlights, if you're all okay with it. Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am, please do.
So, you all know I'm a consultant cardiothoracic surgeon. I'm also a philanthropist, and I have my own heart foundation, which is called Chopra Heart Foundation, where we have conducted around more than 200 medical camps, and we've conducted free complex cardiac surgeries even before Ayushman was out. It was around 190 to 200 people that I have done the surgeries for, by raising funds from some of my patrons and also my businesses that I am running at present, which are supporting my NGO. Being an entrepreneur, I'm the director of one of the companies which we are running called SRG Altus Use Healthcare Private Limited, and I'm also a consultant in Shankaracharya Hospital Medical College, and also in Sparsh Hospital here in Bhilai. And you're all aware that I'm a joint secretary in Indian Association of Interventional Cardiac Surgeons, and where we are pushing the surgeons to start interventional cardiac surgeons and take the things in their own hands. And apart from that, I have successfully pioneered one of the very complex cardiac surgeries, and those were done during the days of COVID, when all the news was filled with COVID, and so there was no buzz about it. But yes, I've done that, and before that also some of the surgeries were done, but they did not see the light of day. As a businesswoman, I have got around 5 businesses in healthcare sector and also in skincare industry. I was awarded Woman Icon of the Year in the region of Central India for giving doing one of the finest, some of the finest surgeries and some of the very complex surgeries. And talking a little bit about my marriage, about my life. I passed out, I'm an AFMC alumni, and I'm a 1994 batch. I got married in 2000. My marriage was not a very good marriage. It was a violent marriage, and but later I lost him to a massive, extensive interval MI when my daughter was just 4. I raised her all by myself, and raised her while actually I was apparently living inside the hospital, doing the day duties also, night duties also, and I used to be training a lot of technicians and all of that. I was trying to raise money to raise my daughter, so that's how I was living my life. Daughter used to stay with me inside the hospital in the ICU. Finally, I got through my PG entrance at Loni Medical College, which is in Maharashtra. But I experienced some kind of a sexual harassment, and I had to leave that place. But I fought a battle. I raised a PIL at the Supreme Court in 2009, and fortunately, the sexual harassment guidelines, the Vishakha guidelines changed in 2010 based on my PIL, and I thought that I was feeling a little relieved after that. Then I realized that I had to go ahead in life. I always wanted to be a cardiac surgeon ever since when I was in my 10th standard. My mother is from nursing profession, and she had a lot of books, medical books and all that. One of her books had this chapter on infective endocarditis, and I read infective endocarditis for the first time when I was in 10th standard. So I had this kida in my mind that I wanted to become a cardiac surgeon. Then I went to Dr. K.M. Cherin after clearing my DNV entrance. He took me to the OT on the first day itself, and I learned so much from him. And he has been my inspiration ever since that time. I've assisted him in some of the all the adult and pediatric cardiac surgeries, even the heart and lung transplants. I got through my DNB CVT as 6 years at New York Hospital, Chennai. I landed there. I never told anybody about me having lost my husband. Everybody used to be very curious to ask me, are you married? Where's your husband? This, that, and all. But I never told. I told that yes, I'm married and I have a husband. Because having told the truth, I would have exposed myself. That's what I felt. I would have exposed myself to duress. Already, a PG life is not all rosy and all of that. So I felt that nobody can touch me if I said that. So I was already, and before even I joined MEOT, I was already skilled because when I was in Bhopal Memorial Hospital while doing my residency, I was doing my residency in cardiology and cardiac surgery also. So I was already skilled in that. Plus, I was already skilled in surgeries when I was at FLL with Dr. Cam Cherian. So I was skilled even before I started my DNB. But I had to experience a lot of biases against my colleague who was just a fresh joinee and he had never seen the OT, who didn't even know how to hold the scalpel. But it's okay. I had some very bitter, sweet experiences, some very subtle biases. So one day I was told by somebody, oh, you know what, you shouldn't have taken CTVS. Dermatology would have been best for you. So that really, troubled me. All of these things troubled me. Sometimes, debarring me from the OT. I used to be asked questions, and when I used to answer, so all of that, if I answered correctly, what do you think of Whistle? What do you think? Even before I entered my cardiac surgery, I had already completed my PG diploma in clinical cardiology. So I was already seeing patients. I was doing the stuff. I was managing all the patients in the ICU. I was doing, pacemakers on my own, even when I was in Bhopal Memorial Hospital, even before my DNB. So there was this thing, what does she think? She knows everything or what? But I was like, okay, let me wait for the right time. And I left the place, after finishing my training. I did some hands-on in Southern Railways Hospital, and then again, KMC told me, Supreet, you have finished your DNB, now you have to come back to FLL. I was like, yes, definitely, sir, and I have to. So I came back to FLL, but a very senior cardiac surgeon over there, I'm not going to name that person, made a very loose remark on my body. And that too inside the OT in front of everybody. The perfusionists are there, sisters are there, everybody's there. I felt like, I felt very sick. And then I decided to complain and fight against it. But I realized that all the people that I was talking to, they were all females around me and they were all okay about it. And they were saying that it was just a joke. Why are you taking me seriously? And I was like, no, baby, no, I'm not going to be here. So I put up a resignation, 24 hours notice, and forgoed everything else. And then I landed in Nagpur, Government Medical College, super specialty hospital. I got hands-on. Everything I was doing on my own. Everything, like whether it is adult or whether it is pediatric, all the cases I was doing on my own. My boss, my prof was like, so please don't call me in. I was like, definitely, sir, I'm not going to be calling you in. But what I realized was whatever I learned with Dr. Kemcheri, whatever I learned with Bashi sir, oh my God, how it saved my life. Everything, handling tissues and, thinking about the patient, thinking about the pathology, and then going in, doing the procedure 1,000 times in your head, even before you went to the OT, all of that has saved my life till now. And when I felt that I was ready, when I thought that I was ready, I decided that no more slavery. I'm just going to be building my own center. So I decided to build a charitable organization and all my businesses. Now there was almost like no help from anybody. It was difficult to arrange money for funding my NGO. So I decided that my own businesses will be the only ones to support. So I opened 2 hospitals, 1 super specialty, 1 cardiac center, 2 diagnostic centers, and 1 pharmacy. So I was very happy, and also like I've got one more company which is in the healthcare sector, and 1 skincare company. So all of this basically, whatever I earn, whatever we can afford, I transfer that to transfer in the sense like I fund my NGO through my ventures. So things changed for me. I started giving results because of whatever I learned from my great teachers, KMC and V. Bashi sir. And I've been applying skills that I learned from both of them. And I cannot thank them enough for that. They've made my life. So we were doing very well. I did all the rejected and difficult cases of Central India. I collaborated with the primary health centers and all of that, which were government hospitals and all that, to cater to the patients in the villages, etc. Today, my daughter is now like 20 years old. She's going to be 21 now. and I'm going to be 50 now, and she has now cleared her entrance exams in company secretary because now she decided that she wants to be her own boss, she wants to do business, and I'm like, okay, fine, go ahead. I'm almost still like 50. I've decided to do only that much work and take on only those responsibilities that I feel will give me peace, will give me peace of mind, that make me feel that I've done good job. I've done a good work. I'm not after numbers. I don't need anything. I just need to do good work because I want to die peacefully. That's my aim. So my aim in life is to perpetuate the knowledge that I have in health and business, and I will keep doing that till the end of my life. I'm not competitive. I only am living to do good work, make difference in people's lives, and leave a legacy. That's about it.
First of all, I would say that I never felt biased as a female at KEM hospital. In fact, sometimes I used to feel that they should sometimes treat me as a female because your bodies are different and you need some rest during some time of the month and all that. But yes, it was a wonderful experience at KEM, and about the type of surgeries that were allocated to me, I never felt that I was biased. And then the main hurdle, or I shouldn't say it as a hurdle, but yes, pregnancy and the natural responsibilities and the natural feminine inclinations are not taken so well by the male society. I think they are not yet prepared for that, and it is our responsibility to prepare them for that. So I decided not to work during whole of my pregnancy and till I was breastfeeding my child. So I joined back when I started weaning her, and more than my career decisions, I would like to share this experience with you all. So I wanted one more child, but I couldn't afford to. And yes, this is something which needs to be addressed. The male counterparts or your male partner, they are very much they do appreciate your work, they do want to contribute, but yes, they prioritize their careers, and still one of my senior had told me that, Gauri, look, that there is a breadwinner of the family and then there is a alternate financial source. So that needs to be changed. Yes, my husband had provided me the option of taking the back seat, but I was not well prepared that time to take that challenge. But as a female, first thing I feel that you should make your male colleagues realize that yes, during the pregnancy we need rest, we won't be able to do certain kinds of duties, and that is not kamchori. It is required, and you should be allocated some clinical work, clinical research work, or something like that, so that you don't have to discontinue or lose the touch of the work during that period, which I felt looking back, I feel I wasted that time. I could have done some clinical research, or I could have contributed in some other way during that. But yes, I had been blessed with great teachers like Joshi sir and Rao sir, and I'm trying to take it forward from wherever I am right now. I chose to be a cardiac surgeon after I got married, so that was out of question for me. But
out of syllabus.
Yes, it was out of syllabus, a bouncer. But my husband was pushing me to take up plastic surgery. He's a orthopedician, so he thought it would have been a good combination. But somehow my father-in-law stepped in, and then I could go ahead with my cardiac surgery thing. Again, pediatric was a tough decision. Like, you spend most of the hours at hospital, but my mother has been very helpful. But that's where you start getting that guilt that you are not doing your responsibilities as a parent. But I feel you should learn to balance your profession and your personal life well. uh, you should change the norms. Just because my uh, previous generation has toiled too much and has spent too much time in hospital, that need not be the case with me. My general surgery was Dr. Madhuri Gore and Dr. Sandhya Iyer at Sion Hospital. So I never faced gender bias. That's what I said. Sometimes I felt I should be treated as a female. I was always treated equal, very much equal to the male colleagues. So maybe I was too fortunate in Mumbai at Sion and KM. I never faced that. Even in the private sectors with Dr. Rao, Dr. Joshi, I never faced that. In fact, in Australia, to there were very fewer female surgeons and there was just one female cardiac surgeon who was working there. Even the number of resident female cardiac surgeons place in Australia, and that's when I realized, females have a better, there is lesser bias in India than the Western world.
I'll just say about my work-life balance, because I had to leave my work while I was pregnant in my first month of my pregnancy, because I was having twin pregnancy, and my gynecologist, she told me that it's a high risk, so you have to either leave the job or you do lighter job or something. And at my workplace, there was no lighter job, because alternate night duties, CPR, everything we have to give. And only that time I felt that yes, there is at some point we are different than our male colleagues, because there is no pause in their career. I had to leave my job, and I rejoined after 6, 7 months of my after delivery. So almost 2 years I was out of surgical hands-on or anything about my cardiac CT wave thing. So that time that was very that time it was very difficult to cope up that I'm not doing what I wanted to do. But again, afterwards, after last 2 years, 3 years, I'm back on. So I'll just wind up because it's too late now, and I'll thank you all for just sharing my experiences.
So based on whatever, 2.5 decades of my own experience working with my female colleagues, what I feel, and this is something which I have also realized and understood from my female colleagues, is it is important that each one of us know our boundaries, limits, what amount of time commitment, what amount of professional commitment one is able to give to their profession. Two, we need not get into comparison mode with your male colleagues, female colleagues. It is important that we unleash our own individual potential within our given limits, because whether it is male, female, especially for females, apart from getting into the business of multitasking at home and at workplace, which because of our own societal systems, male gender doesn't get into sharing that, which Dr. Priya mentioned in the chat box, that it is time that we need to change mindset. But I'm sure that will happen over the period of years. But till such time, it is important that we do not get into conflicts of getting into comparisons with our other female colleagues who are able to achieve, because quite a few of them would be probably unmarried, so their level of domestic commitment may not be as high as somebody who is married, has kids. So important that we unleash our own potential in given circumstances. That is what will make you happy and satisfied in your professional life. Because I would talk predominantly from a public sector point of view, because the problems of a private sector are completely different. No patient is going to deny any kind of surgery or treatment in a public sector hospital, whether it is a male doctor, female doctor. What he or she needs is somebody who talks to that patient and gives him what is required. So from a public, and secondly, this is again my own personal opinion. I feel especially for female surgeons, public sector hospitals are a big opportunity, because it gives you enough time for your domestic commitment. It gives you enough time for none of your other commitments. As I said, your EQ is much higher. The people who are coming to public sector hospitals, they need lot of emotional supports, which may not be the case completely in private sector hospitals. You have students who also need, kind of emotional support from you. And I'm sure there are quite a few senior surgeons who are, including Abhachandra madam, who has been part of public sector hospital for quite a long period of time, might agree that your happiness quotient will be very high in public sector hospitals, because you are able to satisfy all your demands, your professional commitments, your domestic commitments, and many such things. Thank you.
I just have a few disclosures or disclaimers to make before I start. One is that my general surgery boss was a lady. Some of my best friends were my colleagues at that time. Then coming here, Abhachandra madam selected me to NIMS. I worked with Anita and I have seen her thing through MCH. And I have worked with almost all the lady surgeons at Nizams, except probably for one, Usha ma'am. And right now, I have almost 7 lady residents with me. So my wife is the first lady surgical oncologist of the state of Telangana. My mother and my sisters are all professors. So, if we are thinking that no discrimination against women exists, we are living in a different world. We see right around, probably we are just accustomed, so used to it that we have become insensitized to us. In every way, in so many different ways, discrimination does exist. There's no doubt about it. Look at how many, see how many talented women, what do you call discrimination? Working shoulder to shoulder with men was something which my mother did 50 years back. It is no longer working and equal pay. This thing is no longer what you call as equality. Equality is when you do justice to your potential, which you show as a school student or as a young medical graduate or a young MCH person. If you do justice to your career based on that potential, that is when I would call that there is no discrimination. That is when I would call that biases don't exist. So definitely biases exist. And we try in our ways to, a lot of people say that there's that equal opportunities. I say it should be equitable opportunities. It's not equal. It is equitable. And how do you do that? There are several ways for it, I just want to share on this forum, because everybody knows what women are through. That's not a new thing. I just want to share certain strategies which I think might work in our workplaces, because I happen to be a head of department at an institute where a lot of girls are now joining MCH. I want to make my workplace a very women-friendly workplace. And I want them to feel, I really wish to see their careers soar like so many of the other boys' careers are. what are the few things, Anita wanted me to stress what are the few things I do to encourage that this kind of discrimination doesn't happen. First is, I think it should be communicated very clearly that we have their back. The leadership of the organization supports women not just in thoughts but also in action, and no bad behavior against them would be tolerated at all. There's a zero tolerance to that. Secondly, we have to have a clear communication with them that yes, if you have any problem, please feel free to share with us. We'll try to help it out. I follow a principle that I never say no to any leave, and I never ask them any reasons, because I believe that even if you ask reasons, even for boys or girls, because if you ask reasons, probably they may not tell the truth. And I have seen that invariably my girl residents never abuse this. Whenever they want leave, they just inform me that I am not going to come. I don't ask them any reasons. And I have seen that they don't misuse this, and they work very hard when they are working. And all we see is, and they help each other out. If anybody needs a leave, all I say is hand over your work to your colleague, and they really help each other out. So never has ever has any work suffered. A lot of people complain to me that you grant them leave very generously. That's not something done in cardiac surgery, but I've seen that it never ever lets work suffer. I also make it a point never to ask anybody any personal questions. I'm a part of a lot of running groups, and then there I have realized that it's best not to ask. If people share, they share, fine. We acknowledge it, but let's not every person is comfortable answering personal questions. So I don't make it. I make it a point not to ask anybody any personal questions. And yet, whenever the families come, I make sure that I tell their parents or their family that they have a wonderful career ahead of them, and I want them to encourage all the girls in their careers ahead. It is very reassuring for the patient, for the parents. I have seen, if we ask them to support their girls in their careers ahead. Somehow, many of them come and talk to me about marriage and all that. I say they are two different tracks. Just support her in her career. Marriage, you will always see what is best for your this thing. Just like guys, they don't link careers with marriage. Similarly, why should it be with girls? One thing I have also seen is that we have to be very generous in our praise of girl surgeons. You may call it a discrimination, but I have seen that it's like a car driving. People say the guy is driving such a bad car, but they say women drive so badly if somebody is driving bad. So the converse is also true. It is assumed that if some guy does a good thing, he is appreciated. But whenever some lady resident or a lady doctor operates or something, the same kind of appreciation is not seen amongst the other members of the staff. So therefore, whenever I go, whenever we hop around in the OTs and we see some good job done, I make it a particular point to say that, oh, this is such good surgery you have done. I really appreciate it. And second, whenever there is some criticism due, I always say that you are such a smart resident or you are such a brilliant resident, but this is something which is not expected of you. I think that kind of reinforcement builds a lot of confidence in my girls as well. That is quite important. And last but not the least, I think it is very important for them to interact with peers who have succeeded. And one of the reasons why I have encouraged our residents to chronicle the odysseys of all the lady cardiac surgeons is so that they will feel motivated, they will feel encouraged. I always encourage them to reach out to seniors in the field so that they will also get motivated. Biases against them will go, and I wish that they have very wonderful careers. I'm really happy for this meeting.
Yeah, good evening all. I think it's already too late to hold you up anyway, and honestly speaking, both my experience and on the topic, I guess it's very modest, to be honest. and there's hardly much I can add to what already Dr. Abhijit and Amresh sir has spoken. And I really agree with a lot of points on what Amresh sir had spoken, especially the point that I think it has to be more. Equality is not the point. I guess it's more about equitability. And honestly speaking, I rather than beating around the bush, I can just tell one thing. Um, it's more, especially coming from a private sector, all that matters is what you can, as it doesn't matter, it really doesn't matter what your gender is, what your faith is, at least in today's day and age. I guess I don't say, at least from my perspective, I don't see any I don't see a lot of discrimination, because I have seen, I've had the good fortune of seeing some excellent women surgeons. And I've, I'm lucky enough, I've been very close to Dr. Anita already. So there's a lot that women already contribute in the field of surgery. So it really doesn't matter, I believe, your what your gender is or what you believe in. It's about what you can bring across on that table, what you can provide to the patient. Especially in a corporate sector, it only matters how many surgeries you can do, and how much of revenue you can generate, if I can put in a very crude terms. When it comes to probably a government sector, yes, you have a lot of things to deal with, a lot of hierarchy. You have many colleagues, so you have to work together with several of them. And perhaps there are a lot of differences, but I'm not the best person to talk about it. At the another thing what I can add in is, at the place where I trained. I trained from Narayan Hrudayalaya, Bangalore, and which of course one of the finest centers for cardiac surgery. And lately, what I had seen for the past couple of years at least, more and more women have been joining cardiothoracic surgery, taking up cardiothoracic surgery. I think the real challenge is not whether you're a man or a woman. In at least, I don't know what I've heard a lot of senior cardiac surgeons speaking, and I do totally appreciate what they're talking, especially what Dr. Chopra, she had shared a lot of her own, she had given a lot of insight of her experiences. But I think from now on and moving forward, I think what really matters, especially in cardiothoracic surgery, I guess, is how do we prevent uh, this brilliant department from keeping it afloat. I think the real challenge is, it's really unfortunate when people say this to me, but people do say this on my face, that cardiothoracic surgery now is a dying branch. Unfortunately, that we don't see a lot of people taking up. I mean, at least what it was 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, they don't have the same kind of demand for cardiothoracic surgery. I think the real challenge lies there, on how to keep this. I mean, of course, there will be a lot of people still taking it up, but I think the only way forward is, I think with the help of technology. I think minimal invasive surgeries coming in, that will help a lot. Already, I see that in thoracic surgery, there's a new charm and a lot of takers for thoracic surgery because of the advent of both VATS and robotics. And fortunately, the same thing is happening even in cardiac surgery. A lot of young surgeons are taking up interest in robotic cardiac surgery. So I think going forward, thanks to the foundation and the struggles that have been put in by the senior women cardiac surgeons, I guess that will really help going further the next generation, to fight the perils of I think it's more of corporate market factors, the corporate dynamics which will affect the cardiac surgeons, and it's not the gender. I honestly believe that. I think we're really in at a point of, I mean, with the events, the time is turning in such a way, the tide is going to turn in such a way. I have a very positive outlook. I don't think it would really Soon the gender bias is going to die down pretty soon, and yeah, all that matters is what we can what we can bring across. What is, as Dr. Amrish was saying, what is the potential, and whether we live up to that potential, what we had as training, and how best we can help our patients out.
Having this conversation with all of you. I want to start off with a little bit of my experience of having worked with all of you over the last year, and why I believe that the curation of this panel is very, very important, especially for the topic that we're going to be talking about today. Innovation in campuses innovation and entrepreneurship in campuses has been a conversation for over a decade now, through the ministries, through policy, through conversations within campuses, and also aspirationally for a lot of universities to build a culture of innovation and entrepreneurship in campuses. And of all the universities that I've had the privilege of interacting and working with and understanding the energy behind intentionally designing and driving this culture, I felt that the three of you bring extremely unique insights into the conversation. I know I'm going to start with Dr. Janaki, who leads the Institute's Innovation Council work at Mount Carmel College. They're at the helm of a very interesting change as a university and a college that has primarily been for young women, and have now sort of opened doors for it to be a co-ed college. And they're exploring many, many different ways and many, I think, interesting experiences as to how redesigning this culture or tweaking this culture to engage with both genders. And we're going to talk about that a little bit as I introduce her. Thank you, Janaki ma'am, for joining us today. And we'd love to hear a little bit more about what you do and your role and the work that you're doing at Mount Carmel College in just a little bit. And then there is Dr. Leena, who heads the SDG cell at Christ University. I'm an alumni, so I always feel a little bit biased when I speak about Christ University. So much of so many things in the trajectory of our lives, of those that have attended universities, such as the three of you here, and it's altered our lives in so many ways. And the universities keep giving to their alumni, and I'm pretty sure it's not just limited to Christ University. Leena ma'am also leads an extremely important conversation in the campus, which is that of sustainability, and her and I'm excited to explore her role in building a culture of not just entrepreneurship but also responsible entrepreneurship, and how can we build pro-planet innovation within campuses and within young people. And then we also have Dr. Anila. Thank you so much for joining us today from Jain University. You have an extremely important role because you literally help young people become entrepreneurs. And I don't think there is a better way of actually introducing the work that you do. While innovation and entrepreneurship continues to be an important but a non-academic pursuit for many universities in the country, you lead a program at Jain University which is just focused on building entrepreneurial skill sets, mindset. And it'll be exciting to see young people graduating as entrepreneurs as they complete the course. So welcome everybody. I'm going to invite all of you to now take your turns in introducing a little bit more about you and more about your work, and how we can design this conversation today. Dr. Anila, do you want to go first?
Sure. Thank you so much for having me here today. My name is Anila Bajpai, and I've been associated with Jain University for over 2 decades now. It's an absolute privilege to get the space to do what you are passionate about. And I think Center for Management Studies has always given me that space to think, innovate, and design courses which is more relevant, and which is much required in today's need in today's environment. The program which we are currently, putting all our energy in personally with my team is the BBA Entrepreneurship World of Work program. We focus heavily in terms of how can we encourage students to ideate, right? And we do definitely bring in the sustainability issues and the SDG, all the 17 SDG goals, right in the beginning of the program. And then through their course of 3 years, we encourage them to really go ahead with that idea and make it into a prototype. And then we look at products and releasing those products and services into the market. So yes, I think it's a very, very satisfying role which I'm playing, and to see children blossom into confident young minds. And I think the whole idea is to celebrate their journey. I wouldn't say that there are failures. I would definitely say every bit of their journey is a stepping stone to it. So yes, that's what in a nutshell the BBA entrepreneurship program really looks at. Thank you.
Dr. Leena, do you want to introduce us into your role at Christ University, please?
Definitely. First of all, good morning to all, and happy Women's Day to all of you. It's very exciting for me to part of this discussion where we are talking about designing for innovation in campus. Basically, I am a professor at management at Christ University. I am also associated with Christ University for last 2 decades. And I am heading the STG cell at the university right now and molding the students to be a responsible citizen and taking care of the society, taking care of the environment. So there is a passion assigned, aligned with the role what I am doing. So I am very much passionate about how the students should move forward, taking up their responsibility, whatever way. Especially we are talking about this ecosystem of innovation and the campus involvement in that, thriving for successful startups. The basic fundamental part would be ask the facilitators, ask the mentors. We have to make sure that they have this idea, ethical, conscious way of thinking and fixing the problems in the society. And when we talk about the startup culture in India, we can see a remarkable growth over the couple of years and couple of decades, I can say that. And we can see an evolution that have contributed to this vibrant ecosystem. And Christ University is part and parcel of it. And we are giving a lot of opportunities and avenues and platform for the students to involve in this process. And we have our own incubation center. It's not only for BBA program or MBA program. Across university, different departments, they are pursuing with that. Their curriculum, their research, and their academic activities, all that is connecting with that. So we are giving a platform for the students to explore unexplored areas. So I'm very happy to be part of this particular panel discussion where we can get more ideas and how we can go ahead with this kind of a system where we can make a responsible citizen. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Thank you.
Of course, ma'am. Thank you so much. Dr. Janaki, the floor is yours. Please tell us a little bit more about your work.
Yes, a very good morning to all present. I'm delighted to have the opportunity to share this platform in this discussion to delve into this important topic of innovation, designing innovation in the campus. First of all, I want to bring greetings from our sister Albina, who is the director of Mount Carmel College, and our principal, Dr. Lekha George, and Dr. Shanti, who is the Dean of Entrepreneurship and Innovation. And I feel honored to be part of this discussion, and I'm looking forward to sharing insights and also learning from my fellow panelists here. So I am Dr. Janaki. I'm associate professor in School of Commerce, and I'm also the innovation ambassador and president of MCCIIE. So MCCIIE is a Mount Carmel Center for Innovation, Incubation, and Entrepreneurship. And what do we do in MCCIIE is creating a culture, an ecosystem of innovation and entrepreneurship. And I must say, MCCIIE is the outcome of the initiative by the government of India. So back in, let's say, in the year of 2018, Ministry of Education came up with this idea of fostering a culture of startups, innovation. So through which IIC came into picture. IIC is the Institution's Innovation Council. So that is the initiative of MOE. So through that, our institution very gracefully embraced the idea of becoming an institution that looks forward for innovation. And that's the outcome of MCCIIE. But I must say that a spirit of innovation, spirit of ideation was way back, I think I can date 2007. So if you see there, we already started with this ideology of encouraging students to think out of the box, creative thinking and implementing certain kind of innovative ideas. So we used to call back then E-Cell, entrepreneurship cell. And we had named it as, I still remember, Initium, right? Where it was a small idea where we thought our students should not just be thinking of seeking job, but they should be the future entrepreneurs. And I still remember we had different events and organized different talks where it made students to think beyond what they can what the corporate can offer. Think beyond, but we never thought of, to be very frank, we never thought of sustainability then. We only thought of business ideas and business models that can break the corporate way of thinking. So, and when 2018, when the government came up with this idea of sustainable innovations, we never gave a second thought. We immediately jumped into the idea and we started with MCCIIE. And I must say, we have great things to offer in our campus. We have created an ecosystem where students are just not pushed into the academic arena, but they are made to think beyond their textbooks. They are made to think beyond what is to be offered in a classroom. So we conduct various events, speaker series, and we connect with industry. We have entrepreneurs coming in. They give us the insights. And the best thing that we have in our campus is it's just not about student entrepreneurs, but we have even the faculty. So if you see, it is a collaborative efforts between faculty and students. And I can say we have a very interdisciplinary approach. And further, maybe during the discussion, I would want to talk about the number of programs and startups that we have. And I must say, thank you for having me here, and would like to share more insights.
Thank you. It's very interesting to hear that there is a piece of how you run this is not just interdisciplinary, that is between students of different departments, but also in collaboration with faculty. So I'm going to ask the first question to you, Dr. Janki. Tell me a little bit about what role does the faculty and the entrepreneurial ideas or entrepreneurship ideas that faculty play in the ecosystem of, of cultivating this culture of, innovation, of thinking out of the box or thinking beyond. What role does the faculty play?
So basically, if you see our council, that is the MCCII itself, we have a faculty, it's a very collaborative effort. We have a faculty council as well as student council. We call student secretaries and the council. So if you see, we go through a training called Innovation Ambassador Training, which is a curated program by the government. So what happens here is IIC annually they have a number of training programs that gets organized in terms of entrepreneurship, in terms of IPR, in terms of ideation, in terms of concept development, design thinking. They have a different tracks through which we go through this training. So we as faculty in our institution, we go through this training. We go to this IIC institutions where they conduct the trainings, and I think about 40 days at a stretch, we have the training, and we also get certified to say, okay, this so-and-so person is now in a position to go and, mentor and give guidance to the students. So that is the best thing that as faculty we get trained by the industry mentors, by the government, and also we get certified. And with that, we have some kind of a solid, a foundation where we come back to our campus and we transfer that knowledge to our students. So what happens is, when that happens, students come up with ideas and we faculty become mentors. With whatever knowledge that we have, we start collaborating with students, and we start talking, and at a certain point when it is out of our hand, we take experts from the industry who are very generous to come and help us in terms of how to develop a concept or how to come up with a design for the product. And I must say, we are a non-technical college. We do not have a great base for technology, but I must say, when ideas come in, when we get challenged about the new technologies that are available, that's when we approach IIC or the industry experts, and they with open arms come to us and they tell us how exactly we can improvise in terms of technical aspects. And I must say, we have a startup program. We are so glad, and I'm privileged to share this in this platform. We have a startup corner which is established in our campus. It is called Utkrasht. So it is a pure startup where the entrepreneurs are faculty and students. Let's say we have faculty entrepreneurs from the Department of Botany, Department of Nutrition and Dietetics, and we have from Department of Environmental Science. So it is all a collaborative effort. So to this startup, we have students as well as faculty coming together and testing their product in the campus. So they're selling the product in the campus. It's like a pre-test. So the concept and the product, the prototype, is being sold in the campus, and we have a corner where all their products are displayed. And I must say the sale is going well. So by this, it's like we are encouraging the faculty and the students. What we felt this current year is that we always thought of students. We always thought of students would be, starting up. But then seeing this overwhelming response from the faculty perspective is great. Faculty is just not about a classroom setup where we just deliver the lecture and go. But what we have is to transfer that idea into students, and students have time, energy, and they have a brilliant ideas. So it becomes a very collaborative efforts with faculty and the students, and that's how we are able to have the startups in our campus.
That's excellent. And you also made a point about about it being a non-technical college and therefore having access to industry and industry experts from a technology point of view. I want to now take this thread to Dr. Anila, and I want to ask you, how do you keep up with just the rapid changes in technology, or like how do you keep up with the emerging trends? How do you make sure that the students that are learning or starting up or prototyping or figuring out their ideas, want to work on their ideas, and each of them I believe will need a different kind of industry expertise, right?
Yes.
And also this, and I think we spoke about it when we met a couple of weeks ago, as to how their idea of what they want to do also keeps constantly changing, right? So
Yes.
how do you ensure that the program that you run delivers value despite it being a non-standard, or like, the knowledge to the students is not the same, right? The knowledge transfer that's happening to students is not the same, and there's so much happening out in the market, and trends are changing constantly. So how do you keep up with it?
So what is the key to all of this is that when you look at the vision statement of Jain University, entrepreneurship is one of the key words. So we've got quality education, we've got research, and we've got entrepreneurship. So when there is very high clarity and the intention right from the top, what happens is everything else becomes a lot more easy, because you get the space to go ahead and execute it. When we look at the BBA entrepreneurship program, what we feel distinctly we've done differently is that we have created specialization papers which are across sectors. So generally what happens is in a BBA program, your specialization areas would be across your the earnest while specializations would be across functional areas, which is your marketing, finance, HR, because the course in the past has been designed for employment, right? Now, the BBA entrepreneurship program is making sure that the students are equipped to give jobs. So the specialization is sector domain. So our specialization revolves around finance, food and beverage, and textiles and apparels, right? Now, we have students who pick some of these specializations, and in these specializations, we have designed courses which are domain specific and tech specific. And right at the beginning of the program, we give them tech programs or tech courses which are across all domains. So, for example, we definitely make sure that in the first year they understand their digital marketing, their graphic designing, their tally, etc. So, a very fundamental tech knowledge is infused in the beginning. We have a Center for Emerging Technologies, which focuses on emerging technologies. And the whole idea is to develop very high level of research and consultancy, which is embedded in the university. We have a fantastic engineering school of engineering. And therefore, whenever we require tech expertise, we collaborate with them. We have a vertical in our course matrix known as project-centric learning, where the whole idea is to be transdisciplinary. So what happens is that being a university, we have the space to bring about relevant changes in our course matrix and introduce technology. Across BBA, we are encouraging business analytics. We're encouraging emerging technologies, artificial intelligence. So what happens is we've got a lot of industry people who are coming in regularly. And before we introduce tech papers, we generally have the culture of doing a short workshop to understand how much can the students take in, and then we design it accordingly. So I think for us, we've understood a simple fact that technology is going to be the key for startups to scale up. So we would like to go ahead and collaborate both with industry and with the experts in our university. So it's quite easy and simple for us to do it. I think we have the intention to embed. We've got children who are so savvy at campus. A lot of them come from business backgrounds, so they realize that if they've got to scale up and if they've got to innovate, uh, tech is a very important component. So I think the acceptability across both ends are very high. When we look at tech courses, I think today, I think by the month, the technology is changing. So what is happening is, as and when we feel that it needs to be introduced, we bring it in while the program is being delivered. So we are looking at, say, for example, now AI prompt. I think this is something which children need to understand immediately. We can't wait for it, to be inculcated in the course matrix through the usual board of studies schedule. Whilst we have the space to introduce it, but then what we do is we've got that backing from the Chancellor, Dr. Chenraj Roychand, from the Vice Chancellor, Dr. Raj Singh, from the Pro Vice Chancellor, who's currently our director, Dr. Dinesh Nilkant, that don't wait, because we'll embed it in the course matrix as and when the meetings are scheduled, but at least for the graduating batches, give it immediately. So what happens is tech is definitely very important, and we are able to do it. Yes. So I think we're very excited about being more tech driven in our course and in our assessments.
Yeah, that's excellent. And emerging trends and technology brings me to another important aspect of it. And I want to ask Dr. Leena about this, because we see now the necessity, the need, it's imperative that we start talking about green tech and climate tech. And we see that the emerging trends in terms of both entrepreneurship and employment are moving a lot towards sustainability, renewable energy, fashion sustainability, etc. They seem to be the most clearly emerging trends in the market. And I know you bring that very, very critical lens to the entire university. And I know, like, across all the campuses and the entire university. So tell us a little bit about how do you bring in the sustainability lens? And by sustainability, I mean sustainability beyond environmentalism, right? Social and environmental sustainability as a lens and not as an add-on, right? So how do you bring that into all the work that happens in the university?
Great question. See, when I am talking from the Christ perspective, okay, the startup landscape, it's continued to evolve and attracting the students and the talented people, innovative people, then their capital and innovation. It's an exciting time for all the startup entrepreneurs, and especially in Christ, we have many collaboration with the corporate. Many of them are coming as investors. So this is a golden opportunity this period of time, I can say that. So where the campuses, across the campuses, people are coming with innovative ideas and creativity, and they have a lot of opportunity. Why I'm saying that? So now we can see a shift, a paradigm shift. Graduates are shifting from job seekers to job providers, including you. I can say that. They are looking to address what is that previously unanswered problems or provide a better solution to the existing ones. So where they are ready to take risk. So that is the main part. I can say that risk appetite is much more than early generations. The Gen Z generations are more proactive, and they wanted to take much risk. And this is giving a kind of different offering in terms of products or service, or and even the demand creation. So here they are venturing out new path to explore the unexplored, and they are giving better solutions and services through their products, whatever it is, to the customer, or could be the clients, or whatever it is. So that's the way they are looking forward, and how the Christ is giving on that in this process of thriving up startup ecosystem. We can see that in Christ around 3,000 startups already they have registered So maybe thinking that in India itself is almost around 1,80,000. Out of that, 3,000 startups have already registered in Christ. And it has started long back, maybe almost a decade back. And now the ecosystem is changed. And how this emerging trends, especially in the space of SDG, if you ask about that, or maybe how it will be connecting with the entrepreneurship movement. So where I can see that there is certainly there is a intersection of SDGs, that is sustainable development goals, innovation, entrepreneurship, and the immense potential for shaping the future of entrepreneurs in the universities and fostering a positive impact. So what are the emerging trends, or especially from the industry, what they are expecting? What are the contributions this innovators can give it? So here in Christ, we are actively promote innovation and entrepreneurship mindset, I can say that, and integrate real world problem solving into their curriculum. That is one aspect of it. Then integration of SDGs are increasingly aligning with all the activities of our, whether it is academic or research or co-curricular activities. They embedded with sustainability principles across disciplines. And it's not only for management or science or engineering. Across campuses, across departments and deaneries, we are integrating SDGs into the mission, and universities inspiring students and researchers to contribute meaningfully to the global challenges. So that is something very unique in our university. So where the role of this, not the students or the entrepreneurs in attaining this SDG is very paramount way, where with strong awareness and commitment. So that is what our molding part, where the faculty or the system is giving a strong awareness about and the commitment to sustainable development, and that helping almost all SDGs. I can 17 SDGs they can take it as they create business that will help employment, eliminate poverty, then increase the standard of living, provide decent work and economic growth, help to reduce hunger, assist in reducing the good health and well-being, and all that. Maybe the 17 SDGs probably we are touching in one or other way. So here we have to see that find a solution to this innovate ideas. See, now this is water scarcity is happening, the climate change is happening, green energy, all that's the butterfly effect. See, maybe a small thinking and reflection in the students that make a lot of change, not immediately maybe, but we are giving a lot of support system, how they can take it further. And again, another area I wanted to stress on that maybe the social entrepreneurship. This is an emerging area where education institutions play a pivotal role in shaping the future of social entrepreneurs. And Christ, we have an effort to make changes in the complete ecosystem through addressing socio-cultural or environmental issues. And we are basically giving a specific instruction for them. If you're taking up on that, please make sure that you are considering the three areas: socio-economic and environmental aspect. Maybe the individuals or organization who practice social entrepreneurship, they can find or implement opportunities to enhance social wealth. But starting from the university level, definitely they have to give a proper mentoring and proper kind of value addition to that. So I think Christ is giving much more than that. So they can start with a business to make a difference. So that is very, very important while we are aligning sustainability or SDGs in the process of this entrepreneurship progress. Another aspect is about sustainable innovation. We have an incubation center and we have sustainable innovation centers separately. We are holding for the students, those who are really wanted to start with. There we are giving the industry, corporates are coming. They can also invest in the industry-led research and innovation projects aligned with SDGs, or by supporting startups, those who are already there, incubators or accelerators. That is also Christ is actually giving. So there are many people are coming forward to take the risk and moving forward, because there is a system where we are giving them a platform where they can give all this kind of information. So this industry collaboration, investment and mentorship, I think that's playing a very pivotal role in CRISE to shape this kind of ecosystem, and people are looking for ethically sustainable process for their startups.
Businesses. Yeah, that's excellent. And I want to take this to Dr. Anila, because I know there's a lot of industry collaboration that happens. And I want to ask you that beyond financial investments that universities themselves can make in very, very early stage business ideas that are led by the students, innovations and ideas that are led by the students. What are the other kind of investments that the universities should be looking at to hone this culture, to make this culture better, to make this more, and also very important point that Dr. Leena pointed out about that they just don't create businesses, but they create responsible, sustainable businesses.
Yes. I think very well said by Janki ma'am and Leena ma'am, in terms of the culture they've created back at their campus. I think, yes, a financial investment is a must. But like I always believe in that, if you have the intention as a university to bring that culture on, right, and transcend it beyond your campus, I think you'll get the right people who will join your vision and your intention. At Jain University, especially at CMS, I think we are very, very fortunate to have that intention being articulated repeatedly across most of our meetings, right? And like I've said this earlier, right from the top, our own Chancellor, Dr. Chenraj Roychand, encourages students, he mentors them, etc. So we know that when a person right at the top of the university can do that, then we have a lot more time and a lot more space with our students on a daily basis. I can only just kind of probably structure this answer across three areas. One is design programs which allow them to do it, right? Let's not keep it additional to the program which they are studying. So at BBA Entrepreneurship WOW program, it is a part of their outcome, right? It is one of the key outcomes, right? So one is have it embedded in the program across all schools, and you can, maybe the proportion and the way it is embedded could be slightly different based on the program or the program outcomes of different departments or faculty. Second is that right from the beginning at our campus across all the BBAs, what we do is we have an idea contest, right? We first try to see what is running in the minds of the youngsters who've joined the program. So one is to try and grasp what interests them, right? And again, it is so heartening to see that the youngsters across India, since we have students coming in from across India and a few from outside India, that they are very serious about these sustainability issues, right? And they are quite educated about it thanks to the kind of schools they come from. So I think we've got the first leg correct when you are bringing on and allowing them to speak at the ideation stage. Second is that in the BBA entrepreneurship program, what we do is that we allow them to understand a problem, an idea for quite some time, and understand it through a lens of various stakeholders, right? So we do not say that you've got to give the idea immediately in a day, in a week, or a month. We generally allow them 2 semesters, right? So 2 semesters is a lot of time where they're constantly interacting. Now, throughout the program, we make it mandatory for the students to participate in various seminars, workshops, conferences, in Bangalore is so blessed to have so many trade fair and exhibitions, so they do go. And a lot of these events are domain specific, right? So what happens, they tend to meet people who are on the other side, who are slightly ahead in the curve, and they do get that understanding that there are existing solutions and there are people who've gone through that grind, so their confidence level builds up a little bit more, right? So that is something which we are very particular about, that is done throughout the program. In the first year, we handhold and we make it mandatory for the students to get into that grind, right? Then what we really go ahead and do is that we've got our own incubation center. We've got our Jain Launchpad, and we have the entities, or I would say the staff from the Jain Launchpad, they all coming in and constantly interacting. We've had the privilege of having Supriya ma'am, you right in the beginning and interacting with the first years. And we make sure that the students are given the space to participate at local, first at the interclass campus competitions, city level competitions, national level competitions, and definitely at the international competitions. We give them that space right in the beginning. We don't say that, you are not ready. We never use that. We say you're always ready. Go take a plunge. I think once you take that plunge, you will learn faster. I think your role for the current students has been very, very strong, and they all remember you fondly, because I think those sessions made all the difference. So we are clear that that exposure must be given to students. And then again, what is very interesting about our program is that we've got startup entrepreneurs who are delivering this program. They are full time on our campus, right? One of the requests we made to the university is that we need entrepreneurs to deliver the entrepreneurship program. And they very gracefully gave us that space, and we've got them on board. So what happens is, when you've got a startup entrepreneur standing in front of you, the students are far more confident. Their interaction level, their learning is very high. So these are initiatives which can be taken. And the idea is to look beyond classroom and campus. How many entities can you bring into the campus? And how many times, maybe in a week, in a month, or in a semester or a year, you can actually engage and collaborate with experts outside the campus. So we have, especially for the second years, which we have designed, that once a week minimum, an entire day they have to spend with the practice. We call it as practitioner session. They spend that entire day with the experts outside campus, because I think learning is much higher outside campus. There are certain experiences which cannot be created in the campus, and I think that is a must. So these are things which, if we can design, and then we can try to make sure that it is delivered, then the beauty lies in the fact that we've got it designed, we've got it delivered. How about assessing the learning? So then we've got the assessment pattern which is designed around all of this, right? So whilst we respect the fact that students need to take up usual formats of assessments, we are also having the internal assessment, a part of the 15 across all the courses, which is driven by the practitioners. And some of these practitioners definitely are the startup entrepreneurs. A large part of your internal assessment is in terms of the progress they've made with their idea, and how much of it is then being converted into the next stage. And then by the end of the program, we're looking at releasing the products into the market, how much sales, and so on and so forth. So I think in every element, the student should be able to get a feel that the whole objective is to revolve around, your startup idea, your innovation, and sustainability. I think these things are a must. In the course matrix, like I mentioned earlier, we've got something known as project-centric learning. So we've got 3 credits given every year to it. And so what happens is that at the BBA entrepreneurship program, we've told them to pick this. Each team needs to pick up one SDG goal. And that's how the ideation starts. And then it splits into multiple startup ideas as they proceed from one semester to the other. So I think, Bangalore is poised at a point where we can collaborate. We collaborate with a lot of incubators outside our own Gen Launchpad. We've got some of the brightest minds of India who come. We just finished our CMS trade fair where we encourage our students to showcase their product. We invite many colleges. To come and encourage our students. One of our key goals in the program is that we will encourage women entrepreneurs, right? So this CMS trade fair also does keep certain stalls aside for women entrepreneurs. We actually seek out for those women entrepreneurs who do not come from this privileged background of studying in a fantastic B school. A lot of them don't even understand fundamental marketing or social media marketing. So we take on a lot of live projects throughout the 3 years. These live projects are then embedded in the internal assessment across different courses. So therefore, the question paper is designed around the live project. So what has happened is throughout the year, they're not just meeting entrepreneurs, they are actually working with entrepreneurs. And we are assessing them on the work they've done for the entrepreneurs. So we've taken a lot of initiatives academically, I wouldn't say non-academic, but quasi-academic, right? A hybrid model which can encourage the young minds. See, the idea is they should feel that they've learned.
Yeah.
It's not about, okay, we've gone and delivered what we wanted to. I think those days are over. We no longer call ourselves teachers, in fact, in our campus. We call ourselves facilitators. So I think a lot can be done. One of our recent initiatives, which I would like to mention, is we've reached out to the schools in Bangalore, right? And we are going ahead, and we believe that our students will mentor the school students now. So we're going to tie up with schools. Some of them have the Atal Tinkering Lab. So we are going to have, in the coming academic year, starting from June, we'll have our own students mentoring the school students, right? So we will weave that ecosystem in the city. It is not about us. Entrepreneurship is all about taking many more people along and making sure that collectively we do something which is making more sense for the society. So I think that system is slowly getting created, and I would definitely would like to reach out to all my peers out here, because I think each of you are doing fantastic, phenomenal work. And I think collectively we can make that difference to Bangalore as a startup hub. Thank you so much. Thank you.
I love it. I love also just how collaboration comes a lot more easier to women. Working together comes a lot more easier to women. And it's important to acknowledge, just considering the fact that today is International Women's Day. I want to go back to an important point that you made, Anila ma'am, and ask Dr. Leena, and then perhaps do a quick closing remark, because we don't have a lot of time left. Is this piece about students getting access or students being involved in programs which are not just at their campus level, at inter-campus or intra-campus, or even national level, but importantly international level, right? We see that the world's getting smaller and smaller, and we see even on professional networking sites like LinkedIn, a lot of young people who are still in college, they're developing their digital presence. They're trying to build a digital profile that talks about their work, that talks about their successes, etc. Even way before they actually get into the professional, whether it's employment or entrepreneurship or etc. And I know that, ma'am, you do a lot of work with international universities, organizations, as well as organizations like ours, the Future Founders Co, that work with other global organizations. And I want to and I remember one of the things that the India Sustainability Startathon delegation said when we were talking about how the many don't get to interact in an international setting, even even way well into their professional lives, right? But the fact that they go to universities like Jane Christ, MCC, etc., who are constantly looking at bridging industry connections or constantly trying to make the entire world more accessible to their students, right? So tell me a little bit about how your work also involves working with international organizations and bringing some of that, whether it's approach, learning, access, network, etc., into the classrooms at Christ.
Thank you. Certainly, the international collaborations they play.
Oh wait, also because sorry, I want to interrupt. Also because I know recently you were awarded by the Sri Lankan government for your work in the youth empowerment space, especially with respect to environmental and social work. So big congratulations on that. And I know that it came through the Prime Minister's office, and it was excellent, and it was very inspiring to see you there. So yeah, just tell us a little bit about how.
Thank you for that. So what I wanted to say that, see, international collaborations definitely plays a very important role in fostering innovation and creating a value-driven startups within universities. Okay. Before moving on to that, to explore on that, I wanted to thank Dr. Anila and Dr. Janaki. They have given a lot of inputs. Definitely, we can work as collaborators, and definitely, this is what you are looking for, the new innovations in the academic field. Okay. So coming back to my question, how we can explore and why we can collaborate with international universities and organizations. And as you know that for SDG Cell, we are collaborating with United Nations Academic Impact. We have lot many programs we have arranged in the month of Feb. You were also part of it. We had one full week, sustainability week, where we had involved the students and faculty, the entire stakeholders, participating in one or other way the sustainability initiatives and connecting with, again, the startups and other things we are doing. When we think about sustainability, I wanted to quote here our Vice Chancellor for the JOCC used to say that sustainability or SDG should be a distinctive practice of the university. Each and everyone should understand it. You have to make it more visibility, more involvement, more community engagement. So it's his vision. And through that, we are all taking the further to make sure that there should be a better future for all of us. Global perspective is very, very important. Coming back to this international collaborations, Christ is fortunate to have around 59 international universities we collaborating with. And how we can explore on that. I just wanted to make some 2-3 points on that. First, about this, when we are collaborating with international universities, that will give you a diversity or knowledge exchange is very, very important. So the international partners expose universities and startups to giving a different perspective about a same problem and the knowledge and expertise. So that's very, very important for the students all to think in a different perspective and interacting with people from different background. That sparks creativity and encouraging innovative thinking for them. Then by sharing ideas and best practices of different universities can enhance definitely their research capabilities and contribute to cutting edge innovations. That is usually it's happening in across the world. And here, Christ, definitely we are giving maximum advantage for the students collaborating with international universities. When the professors are coming, we used to have a kind of workshops, seminars, and that will give some kind of ideas for them how this universities are doing in terms of cutting edge innovations. Then again, access to resource and the markets, especially I can say that international collaborations provides different ways of resources that may be locally it may not be available, or maybe where the resources may be very scarce resources locally. But when we are connecting with international people, definitely that will be a momentum for them to think and take it further. And see, this another aspect is about the global funding and the research facilities. And see, these are the equipments and other things where we are also getting an exposure to different stakeholders, international markets, potential customers and investors. That is also very important aspect, instead of we are confining only to the local or Indian perspective. So that is another aspect we have to consider in the international collaborations. Then again, the talent mobility, where the students and faculty are getting some kind of platform where we can have a faculty exchange program, student exchange program, is where exposure to different education system and their culture that enhances the skills and broaden their horizons. Then when we talk about startup can recruit top talent people around the world. So then that is another important advantage for international collaboration, fostering a dynamic and diverse workforce can be looked on that. Lastly, this will be giving economic impact for the entrepreneurship program. Basically, about universities definitely play a crucial role in incubating and supporting these endeavors. There again, creating economic growth, job creation, and societal well-being. So these are the things definitely we can learn, and we can collaborate, you can network, and we can get more kind of enhanced information and knowledge, and that can be used within our confined knowledge and the platform what we are using here. So definitely, in summary, I want to say that international collaboration accelerate innovation, creativity, then networking opportunities, and definitely see, in management terms we say that no, three P's: planet, profit, and people. So this will be definitely will be explore much more what we are looking right now. So that's a way the international collaboration definitely help us. It's a mutual way we will be giving and taking. So that's it's very, very important for in the ecosystem of entrepreneurship.
Yeah, that's excellent. Thank you so much. And thank you everybody for joining us. I think we're right on dot, and we'll finish this up. Each of you play a very critical leadership role in helping young people of this country become responsible global citizens. And I wish each one of you a wonderful, wonderful, and a formidable Women's Day. My best wishes to each one of you, and I hope to catch up with you in campuses very soon.
Thank you. Looking forward to meeting you soon. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you all.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to My Startup TV.
This conference is the largest AI conference in the country that has been held with an overwhelming response and resounding success, with 2,000 plus participation of academics, researchers, IT professionals, students and representatives from the government organizations. And this conference is deliberating on a lot of issues which have a real place for the people's issues to be solved. And from the tracks of fintech to the agri-tech to the health sciences, to the life sciences to foundational research in AI, there are close to 8 and 9 tracks that include journalism, creative media industry, and all the issues that are related to the commons in all of these sectors is being jotted down, and the deliberations are being held to see on how do we solve problems for the commons. This conference began with the launch of a AI model where people communicate with the machines. There were 3 farmers who lost their dear ones because of electrocution. It's not that the farmers do not know how to switch a motor on or switch a motor off, but rather they just got electrocuted because when they water the fields, they get drenched in water, and one droplet of water from their little finger or index finger when they switch on the button is sufficient to be electrocuted. And this AI model that we built enables the farmers to communicate with machines, and while doing so, it made it really possible for them to give oral commands either to switch the motor on or switch the motor off. They can